Hi y'all, good morning. It is time to catch some fish, so if you come with me, let's go. Grab your snake boots though, because by gosh, this area we're fishing today, it looks like it could be snake infested. If we see any of them, y'all can deal with them, buddy. I'm gonna deal with the fish, y'all deal with the snakes. I don't like them. But anyway, we in a backwater creek system today here, y'all. You can see this creek. I'll turn the camera around here. This is a fairly small creek. It's not very wide, but it's got some depth to it. You're looking at 6-7 feet out here. To the right side, the main creek channel runs around here to the right and it gets shallower as it comes up here to the grass. But we're going after carp today, y'all. Carp or buffalo, I should say. So I'm gonna try to fish 3 rods in here. I'm gonna throw one up here kind of shallow, one toward the deeper part over here, and then I'm gonna toss one over here behind us. So I think we can work 3 rods effectively, even in this tight area by doing that. So come with me today, y'all. Let's catch us some fish, have some fun. I'm gonna bring y'all with me today, unedited, raw and uncut. Y'all gonna see everything from right now until I pull out of here a few hours from now. It's gonna be hot as blazes out here, but the way I've set up, and I've chose this area of the creek for this reason. The sun is coming up in this direction. So these trees right here are gonna give us some shade for hopefully 3 or 4 hours this morning. And then once that sun clears the top of them trees, we out here, Mother Nature can bake this place. Me and you would be home in the air conditioning. Although I'm guessing some of y'all probably in the air conditioning right now. You're lucky. But anyway, enough of me flapping my gums here. Let's get some baits on, buddy. We're gonna be using a couple different baits today. I'm gonna show you here. We're gonna try something. I have used, for carp, I have used cherry tomatoes in the past and had success. And surprisingly, I've caught a good number of catfish on cherry tomatoes as well. So today, we're gonna try some cherry tomatoes. But the tomatoes I've got here, I picked these from my garden. They're green. I'm hoping, in the past I've used red, ripe tomatoes, but I'm hoping with these green ones, maybe they'll be a little bit more firm on the hook, maybe stay on there a little better. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if the carp will like them. Don't know if they'll stay on the hook better for sure or not, but we're going to try them and see. I've also got some worms here. Been doing real well on worms on recent carp and buffalo adventures. So we're going to do that in combination with some pack bait. So I've got a method feeder here, which I guess I should have showed you in case you're new to my channel. I'll show you on the next one, give you a better look at it. But we're gonna put some pack bait around this feeder, which is just a wire and coil feeder. My pack bait feels like it's a little dry, but we're gonna put it on here. It's got breadcrumbs, sweet corn, cream style corn, and strawberry jello. That's going to create a little chum pile, which will hopefully attract these fish to our hook, which again, we're going to have cherry tomato on a couple of them to start, a worm on one to start, and then we've also got some plastic corn. Goodness, I'm getting choked up. We got some plastic corn on a hair rig in case our hooked bait gets either knocked off or eaten or whatever. So let's grab us one of these cherry tomatoes here. See how this thing will hook on here. I think they're going to be a little bit more firm, and maybe I could be delusional. I don't know. My gosh, that fit on there pretty good. All right, let's get this one cast out, y'all. I'm going to throw one up kind of shallow. Right there, and we'll put one kind of over here. Lord, there's a stump or something over here. I thought it was daggone Bigfoot. I thought we had a Sasquatch watching us over here. Kind of startled me a little bit. Like, I don't think we're gonna see any humans out here today. I hope not, anyway. If we see a human up in this creek, they have traveled a long way to come up in here. Don't think there's going to be any boats get up in here. That's for sure. All right, so I think on this one, we'll throw a worm on this one and throw it out toward the little bit deeper section over there. Oh crap! Remind me on that last one, our third rod. Remind me here before I start packing pack bait. In case you're new to the channel, I'll show you what these feeders look like. I got a link for them in the video description. They're just cheap Amazon feeders. They're not the fancy carp rigs, you know, that you get over there in Europe and England and all the professional carp fishermen use. You ain't gonna see nothing professional on my carp fishing adventures. Definitely not. Oh man, I think these worms are dead too, y'all. Oh man. I don't know, is that one still moving or am I? No, he's dead. Dang. Do you think dead worms work? I'm gonna put a dead worm on there. Here's the problem, y'all. I've had some malfunction. I'm gonna tell you some story. I got some good stories today. We're gonna try a dead worm on this though. Dadgummit. I should have got us some more worms. I didn't realize, I thought these were okay. Clearly they're not. We'll try a dead one on there. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. It'll either get bit or it won't. Let's throw this one over here though. Closer to those trees over here if we can. Yeah, that over there, that's the deeper part of this creek there. So that's, I mean, 6, 7 feet deep right there. And it could fluctuate too, depending on the water level. We got some rain. I went and fished a tournament up on Hoover Reservoir in Ohio. And while I was gone, we got some rain here in East Tennessee. And the water's still real muddy from it. Apparently we had some downpours, and you can see right over there on the overhanging trees where the water was, like it had come up and all those mud all over them bottom leaves there. So still got a little flow in this creek. I mean, not much, it's barely moving, but it will get our scent going down this creek a little bit and hopefully get the attention of any carp that's downstream from us. That's all right. Now, before I bait this thing, in case you're new to my channel, let me just show you what these daggone feeders look like. This is it here, just a, you know, small contraption. It's got wire, inside's got a coil, and it just helps you pack those breadcrumbs, your pack bait, whatever you're using. Oh, look, what was that? I swear something hit us. Maybe the daggone Sasquatch. I looked up, but the rod didn't get hit, I don't think. I don't know what happened over here, y'all. I'm imagining things. We're off to a hell of a start today. But anyway, these feeders, they just help you pack your pack bait, your breadcrumbs, whatever you're using on, helps it really just hold it on there for the cast, and then as it's setting in that water, it will start to fall off and create a little chum pile around your bait. This one here, same rig, it's a hair rig, but this one's got some pink colored corn instead of the yellow with the other. We're gonna put us another cherry tomato on this one, and we're gonna cast it out behind us, because there is no way we're gonna be able to function with 3 rods in front of us in this tight of an area. We will be begging for a tangle. We're gonna have some challenges today anyway when we hook fish. And if you're seeing this, spoiler alert, something's went right for us here. We've caught some fish today. But if these fish run to the right and they get over here in these trees, we could potentially have some issues today with snags and tangles and whatnot. So we will see. Let me get a smaller, get this one right here. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, here we go. We'll run that through the flesh of that tomato there. Okay, there we go, folks. That's going to be our rig. Oh, that one did get hit. You saw it. You saw it right there. It got hit. Now, I didn't imagine at that time, folks. I saw the rod. I swear I think something hit it the first time though. I felt a little jolt. Okay, let's, I'm just gonna throw this one here. A light toss right over there. Y'all keep an eye out on this rod now. It's gonna be behind us. I'm gonna set it here in the right rear rod holder. And we're fishing, y'all, just like that. It took us a little while to get set up because I'm losing my mind, apparently. Imagining fish that ain't actually hitting. That one tugged it a little bit, but he didn't get it. That was on the daggone tomato. I'm interested to see if this rotted worm gets it. Let me tell you what happened with that, y'all. Again, you come with me on these unedited trips, y'all. We're gonna catch some fish, hopefully. If you're seeing this, we caught some, and I'm gonna tell you some stories too, because man, things happen to me all the daggone time, it seems like. So I always got something to tell you. And I definitely got some stories about this. I'm gonna tell you about the tournament up in Hoover. Went well for me. I had some good fortune up there. And I'm gonna tell you about my carp fishing trip yesterday that didn't happen. Lots of things went wrong yesterday. So anyway, but as we do this, I'm gonna put you in the chest here. You can watch these rods go down. Be sure to keep an eye out here on the left side. Looks snake infested to me. I've never had a snake crawl up in the kayak before. If it ever happens, they can have this thing. I don't like snakes at all. But I'm gonna put you up here and we're gonna tell some stories. So this carp fishing trip that you and I are on today was supposed to happen yesterday. But let me tell you what went wrong. So I get up yesterday morning and I was tired because I'd got back late from the Hoover trip, right? And so I mean, I'm just dragging. The older I get, it seems like the longer it takes me to recuperate from road trips and just going on limited sleep. I don't function on limited sleep as well as I used to. I didn't need to sleep that much. Now I need a full night's. Did something hit this one? Did I get a little bump right there? Maybe imagining things again. But anyway, I come out yesterday hoping to come here to catch some fish, have us a good time. And I'd laid out my stuff the night before, the bag of pack bait. I had worms in the fridge. I'd picked them cherry tomatoes from my garden, had my camera bag, everything sitting on the counter. Yesterday, I leave out, grab my stuff, or so I thought, come out here on the water, make the run. This was a pretty good run for me to get to this creek. It's a long ways from where I launched. I like coming here though. I've fished here in years past, but I like it because of how secluded it is. It's hard for people to get to, and it's such a small creek that you don't have to worry about boats getting up in here and stuff. And so I kind of have a place to myself. So anyway, I made the long run yesterday to get up here. And I go to set up and I realize, you know what I didn't bring? The damn bag of pack bait. I left it sitting on the kitchen counter. I grabbed my camera bag, I grabbed the cherry tomatoes, I got the worms out of the fridge, and somehow walked out of the house without the giant bag of pack bait that was sitting right there on the counter next to my camera bag. So anyway, I got all the way up here before I realized. I turned around and go back home. I mean, I guess we could have put just some tomatoes on there, but you know, the pack bait's kind of it's the chum. It's what kind of draws the fish in. So anyway, by the time, again, I had to make a long run to get up here. So I was like, by the time I got back to the car, was gonna have to go home, like I wasn't turning around and doing it all again. I said, we'll try it today. So anyway, here's the other thing from yesterday. So yesterday morning, and maybe this is why I was distracted and forgot the pack bait. I had 4 tubs of worms in my fridge. And every time I'd been opening my refrigerator lately, I would get this, oh, something hit me. Now, y'all saw that, didn't you? That line jerked a little bit now. That's on the dead worm. We're getting bit kind of early here, it seems. I mean, this is the fact we're getting any kind of action on these rods. I had mentioned this before, and I'll say it again now. Sometimes on these carp trips, it takes a while to get bit. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, oftentimes to get that first bite because, like for instance, I come from this direction. The entrance of this creek is on down. So I had to travel with my motor and kayak basically right over the top of all these fish up through here, any fish that was in this creek. So when you do that, you spook fish oftentimes, and it takes a while to get them to come back. Now, I had mentioned in one of these carp trips, unedited carp trips, trying to get some feedback from the audience. And here's what I was proposing. Did you, the audience, my fishing buddies here, did you want me to start the camera as soon as I get on the water and possibly wait 30 minutes to an hour for the first bite? Or do you want me to wait till the first bite and then start the video? Well, I'd asked that, and then I went and filmed a couple videos where I waited to start the video, and then that trip where I had polled you all came out, and overwhelmingly the comments was start it as soon as you get on the water. So y'all have seen the last couple trips, I guess, where I have started the video with the first fish. Carp trips anyway, the catfish, ultralight, I just started to get on the water. But anyway, we're gonna try it again today with just starting when I get out here, but I've undoubtedly probably spooked fish coming up through here, so it may take a while. So anyway, the bottom line is the fact that we're getting any kind of action on a rod at all this soon, I feel is encouraging. I feel it's a very encouraging sign. But I was trying to say about the dang worms, so I had 4 tubs of worms in my fridge. And all 4 tubs were leftovers from recent trips. And I guess the last carp trip I went on, I fished with Daniel and Catfish Sumo there. When we got done, it was hot. I mean, it was a miserable hot day, like it's gonna be today. When we got done fishing, we went to a barbecue place, had lunch, and we was in there, I don't know, an hour or so. Meanwhile, them worms was in my car baking in the sun. And of course, I took them home, stuck them in the fridge. Well, I guess they died. I guess the heat in the car was too much for them for that hour that we were eating. So they died, and I kept opening my fridge, and I kept smelling like, what the hell is in my fridge? It's stinking so bad. Well, I opened up them worms yesterday morning. There was something jumped right there in front of us. I opened up them worms to check on them, and they was all like dead and moldy and stuff. So I threw out 3 tubs of them worms yesterday morning, which was probably why I was distracted and forgot the pack bait. But this one tub, I looked, I was like, okay, well, there's no mold here. Like, I thought they were still alive. Apparently, they were dead, but not molded yet. So, yeah. So there's our worm situation, y'all. But by gosh, the cherry tomatoes they're perfect right now. Assuming we can catch fish on unripe tomatoes, which I don't know. This is an experiment. I know we can get them on the red tomatoes, ripe tomatoes. I've used cherry tomatoes before. Like I said, I've got not only carp on those, but I've got catfish on those cherry tomatoes, it's happened more than once. So I'm thinking there's something to it. But we're trying the green ones today. We're out here learning, man. We're experimenting. Y'all, my line's slack right here. Did you see this? This line's went slack. It's come toward me. If we feel any weight on here, I'm gonna jerk his jaw. Here we go. We're about to get fish number 1, y'all. You ready? Got him. We got something, by gosh. We've got something. Oh, he's running. He's running. I think that's a carp. I think it's a carp. Boy, this did not take long. This is a surprise. I thought for sure I'd spook fish coming up through here. Maybe the extra depth in this creek kept from spooking them. Oh, it's a buffalo. We got a buffalo here on the dead worm. Well, how about that? Howdy do, buddy. Well, regular fishing buddies on these videos know I like me some buffalo, and he's going crazy. Come on this other side so I can land you easier, buffalo, would you? Don't get behind that motor, don't do it. Come on this side, there you go. How about that, folks? Boy, that didn't take long. On the dead worm. Yes, oh, he splashed me. I got splashed in the face. Did he get y'all too? Boy, I tell you, the worms, y'all, that's a nice buffalo too. That's a nice one. That's a really nice buffalo. The worms, man, they have paid off huge for the buffalo. And apparently it don't matter if they are alive or dead. These buffalo like them some worms. Easy, easy peasy, easy. Oh man, this makes me excited, y'all. Oh, I gotta get my pliers out. Let me grab the, okay, there they are. Okay. Yeah, I just saw that line go slack. It's like it was coming back toward me, kinda. Here's what I want to do. Let me check y'all. So how do I get splashed in the face and y'all don't? I don't understand it. But I'm gonna set y'all up here in the front seat. I want you, do me a favor, would you? And snap a picture of this fish with me. The camera's always crooked, but it's okay. I want you to get a picture of me and this thing. This old slimy buffalo right here. That's not bad for fish number one. All right, man. Yes, sir. All right. I feel him about to flop. Get on out of here. Look at all that mess right there, man. They are some slimy creatures. I think they're more slimy than catfish. I just got I don't know, they're different, they're unique. I find them to be very challenging to catch. I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time carp fishing the last few years and have got very limited number of buffalo, all things considered. But one of the things I've realized is that I do catch more buffalo when I'm using worms. So I'm trying to incorporate worms on my rigs more regularly because I know I can get carp on them too. But I wasn't sure how it was going to go with the dead worms. But apparently the buffalo don't give a crap, man. So we'll put us another dead worm on. Well, I know this other rod got jerked pretty good, and I'm wondering if our cherry tomato didn't get ripped off. Now, it really don't matter, I don't guess, because we've still got our plastic corn on there. But part of me is wondering what's going on down there with our cherry tomato. That's exciting, man. I'm telling you, it's when you're in these small creeks, I'm fascinated by the size of the fish. You know, carp, buffalo. I mean, there's some really big specimens to be in such a small creek. And I've had some people tell me before about using soybean meal instead of the breadcrumbs. Use soybean meal. The buffalo like it. I found some online the other day. It's going to cost as much in shipping as the bag of soybean meal, but I think I'm gonna order some. And we're gonna try it. Oh, our back rod, our back rod. We're hooked up back here. Okay. Now this one here probably came from behind us, so we wouldn't have, oh, and he come off. No, there he is. We probably wouldn't have spooked those fish coming from this direction. He needs to come this way though, get off from that other side of the bank. Boy, he's coming. He's coming, look at him go. This was on the cherry tomato. What is this? I still don't know if he's a carp or a buffalo. Okay, this one's a carp. Green cherry tomato getting it done. This one hadn't been messed with, so I know that one was still on the hook. We need to do something. I tell you what, we got to make some space here in the floor. Let's set him in that rod holder there a second. Let's get this one cast back out, and then we'll land him. Let me get us another dead worm. Let's put a, boy, that thing stink. Let's put this piece of one. You think we got to use a whole worm to attract the buffalo? I don't know if you had to or not. Maybe just a, these, I tell you what though, these worms, but they're gonna put off some scent, because I mean, it's just, they stink. That's what my fridge smelled like, y'all. Okay, let's, he's still going crazy over here. Let me just give this a little toss right there. Man, y'all, we are just a few minutes in and tearing them up here. What are we? 20-something minutes in, we done got 2 fish. How awesome is this? I really thought with this creek here, but just being so narrow, like I thought it was going to take a little while today. I thought we're going to be waiting an hour, but not at all. Come on in here, carp. Come on. Nice. I think the buffalo was a little bigger than the carp, but we've got one now on the cherry tomato, and that tickles me, y'all. How awesome is it? I got me a garden this year. I used to put out a garden all the time, and I got away from it for a couple years because I hate my neighbors, and they moved in on the side of the property there that I have had my garden on historically. There it comes, there it comes. I'm gonna give you some chest cam time, carp, because you're not really big enough to justify front camera time. Look at all that orange on him though. You're a pretty good looking carp, even if you are kind of small. Nice size fish for this creek though. We'll see you, buddy. But anyway, I put out a garden this year. I did a raised bed garden, and I've got peppers, banana peppers, and bell peppers. I've got cherry tomatoes. I've got cucumbers. I had some peas, they're done. And I've got some sunflowers in another bed that I've planted. Just a few plants, you know, stuff that I was trying to just plant the stuff that I was gonna eat, and, you know, make it to where I was just gonna have enough for me to eat and not a bunch of extra that I was gonna end up just composting or giving away. And well, hell, it don't take a very big space to grow more food than you can eat. So I got a lot of everything right now. Boy, it tickles me though to be able to bring something that I have grown at my house out here and catch fish with it. Like, it's just, it's something rewarding about that. And that's on top of the feeling I get from catching fish in just a small creek like this. I love places like this. And like this creek here I mentioned, it's a haul for me to get here. Even once I get on the water, like it's a long run. Like it takes almost 45 minutes for me to get up here on the water. But I like it because of just how it is here. It's such a tight area that I have the place to myself. Like it's my own private fishing area, I feel like, almost. I'm gonna put us another tomato on here. It's just another little unripe tomato. This is a number 6 size hook. It's an ESP hook. And that's our rig, folks. That right there. Cast this one off back over here behind us. And I think that left rod, I think I'm going to reel it in. Okay. I think I'm going to reel it in because it had that hard jolt there first thing. And then nothing since. And I'm wondering if we didn't lose our mater on that thing. Okay. Y'all, will you all just bear with me here a second? Just appease me and let me reel this thing in. I'm just curious. Yeah, we've lost everything on there. Okay, we're gonna rebait this thing, send it back out. I knew it had a hard jolt. I thought we might have lost our bait. And this current in the creek, it's not moving much, but it is probably going to move our pack bait. You know, it's enough to where it's probably gonna, if we go, let's say we go 45 minutes to an hour maybe without a bite, like we're gonna need to be refreshing everything. All right, let's throw this a little bit larger tomato here, but we're gonna put it on. Okay, there we go, another tomato rig. I swear that stump right over there, it almost looks like it's got an arm coming off of it. Every time it catches the corner of my eye, I'm like, it's a daggone Sasquatch. Okay. I'm not casting those out real far. These fish run, I want them to run right here. If we cast down too much further, there's some more logs that come over, like further over to the left. We're begging for snags. This area here, it's the least amount of snags through here. So that's why we're setting up here how we are. That, in addition to the fact that the sun coming up to the left will have us in the shade here for longer, which we're gonna need today. So anyway, y'all, again, this trip was supposed to happen yesterday. It did not, but we out here today, we're making the most of it. And we off to a good start. Got a buffalo and a carp already here in the first half hour. That's pretty awesome, man, I'll take it. Oh, there was something else right over there. I don't know if that was a carp or a gar. It was a bigger fish that come up right there. I didn't see any carp when I was coming up through this creek this morning. It's hard to see anything with the water being kind of chocolate milk color. But I did see some like surface activity from gar, like them coming up and rolling. But oh, that was a buffalo right there. I saw him, I saw his back. He's right over there in front of this line. But the carp and buffalo was just impossible to see in this chocolate milk. But they're clearly in here, by gosh. Man, y'all, and it ain't taking long either. I like days like this. We're gonna have some fun today, buddy. But anyway, yeah. Trip was supposed to happen yesterday. Worth the wait happening today. I'm home from my Ohio trip. I had went to Ohio. I was gonna go there, fish the tournament on Hoover. And then the following day, I was gonna go to Sandusky Bay. That was my plan. I ended up just coming home. Our line's slack right here. Did you see that? Our lines went slack. I think that buffalo that we just saw may have eaten our bait. I'm gonna pick up. If we feel weight, we're gonna jerk his jaw. I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing. I'm gonna set it back. Our line had slack in it. I don't feel nothing. Something must have bumped us down there. But, you know, like I said, my plan was I went up there thinking I was going to do a 2-day trip to Ohio, fish the tournament, leave once I left the tournament, drive to Sandusky, and fish on Sandusky Bay for a morning session before coming home. But the wind on tournament day was just relentless. And that tournament video for my regular viewers should have been all my videos go in sequential order. So that should have been my last video. Now, if you're a channel member, I probably posted that tournament video early. So I normally do that for my channel members. But for everybody else, that should have been my last video. But the wind was just relentless all day long. And Sandusky Bay, it's just this huge open bay on Lake Erie. And when the wind's up there, man, you're in trouble. And so it was going to be less wind the next day on Sandusky than what we were dealing with on the tournament day. But it was enough still. Like, I didn't want to fool with it. I was just like, especially in this kayak, because I take on so much water over the bow because of how I've got it set up with all this weight with the motor and batteries and live scope and all that, like up front. I take on a bunch of water. And so I didn't want to be on Sandusky and that. So I was like, I'm just going to come on home. So I didn't end up doing the second half of my Ohio trip, but the first half of it, tournament day, here's a spoiler for you if you haven't watched that tournament video yet. I won, got first place, big fish, won $3 grand, a little over $3,000. That was a nice prize. Also got myself back in the points lead for Angler of the Year. So that really worked out. That went well for me. Had a good trip. It was one of them days I started out. And I had went up there a couple weeks ago. I did a Ohio road trip a couple weeks back where I hit Sandusky for a day, and then I went and fished Hoover for 2 days. And I didn't do worth a crap at Hoover, man. I tried carp and buffalo fishing one day, got completely skunked. I struggled to get bait. I ended up with some bluegill. And when I went catfishing, I didn't even post a video from my catfishing session because it was just, I caught 4 small fish. It wasn't worth doing. So I didn't go up there with a ton of confidence. What's our lines? Our line's slack here. Oh, I see what's happening here. They're moving water at the dam, I bet. The creek's flowing this way now. They've done something up there at the dam. I guess water's coming into this creek now instead of going out of it. That's frustrating. I wonder if that's what moved our line there earlier. That's probably going to move our whole rig. Let's tighten that thing up. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if it'll go back the other way in a minute or if it'll just keep moving water in. I didn't check the generation schedule before I come out here. It don't really apply to us when we're carp fishing. I look at it when I'm catfishing to see if I'm going to have any flow wherever I'm going to be fishing at, but this style of fishing, it never really affects us, so I don't really care about it usually. But the flow has definitely switched. The water's going into the creek now. But yeah, y'all, I'd went up there a couple weeks ago, done very poorly, caught 4 small catfish, didn't even post the video from it. So I went to the tournament. I was like, man, I'm gonna do what caught me the 4 small fish and hope for the best. So I was trolling to start. I was using balloon rigs and dragging one, and my balloon rigs was getting hit. I was catching fish with them, and I was in first place for the first couple hours of the tournament. But then the wind kicked up a little more, the chop was a little more, and my bite on the balloons kind of died. I just wasn't getting bit, and I started watching, because our leaderboard's live, and I started watching myself fall. Ryan passed me, so I was second place. Then I went to third. I was just hoping to hang on to get one of those money spots, and then I dropped to fourth, and I was like, man, this is, because in the last tournament there on Nickajack, I thought I was going to cash a check right up to the final minutes, and I got knocked down to fourth place, 1 spot out of the money. I was like, is this happening to me again? Am I snake bitten? Hopefully not literally today out here in this snake infested area. But I was like, man, this just can't be happening to me again. So I pulled a Hail Mary in the tournament. I had been dragging and trolling. Everybody up there was dragging and trolling. Everybody was covering water. All the people that was catching fish and scoring them, that's what they were doing. And I was like, you know what, this just isn't working for me. For whatever reason, it's not working for me anymore. I hadn't got a bite in forever. I was like, I'm just going to do a Hail Mary. Really what I was doing was I was pulling a George Costanza. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. I've talked about this theory that I've had before based on Seinfeld. And it is boils down, it was my favorite Seinfeld episode, and it was the one where George Costanza had come to the realization that every decision he had ever made in his entire life had been wrong. So that if he would just do the opposite of what his natural instinct would be, it would have to be right. And I do that, I utilize that so much in my life. I'm like, if something's not working for me, regardless of what, fishing or whatever, I'm like, let me just try the complete opposite and see if that'll work. So I was up there on Hoover, I was dragging, I was pulling the baits under the balloons, and I just wasn't getting bit, and I hadn't been getting bit in a while. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just do the exact opposite. Let me hit the spot lock, let me anchor down, let me just cast everything out and let it sit there. And so I found a little point, and there's not much up there on Hoover. Like, I was on the upper end of Hoover, which is basically a big mud flat up there. But there's one section of that land that comes out and it kind of makes a point. And the wind had been blowing in on that point all day at this point. And so we're like in the last hour and a half, I'm like, you know what? Let's just sit here and see what happens. I can't do any worse. A little while goes by, boom, rod goes down. I can't remember how big that fish was, 37 inches, 37 3/4, something like that. It was my biggest fish of the day at that point. So I score that fish, but I'm still in fourth place. Like I'm not in one of those money spots. The tournament was paying 3 spots. But I'm like, that's great though. You know, like I've gotten some feedback here. This is my first bite in a while, my biggest fish of the day. Like if I get one more like that, like I'm gonna be in contention to at least cash a check. And man, with 20 minutes left to go, I hook a fish, which was my biggest one of the day and the biggest one in the tournament, 41 incher. And that gave me, not only put me in one of those caching positions, but put me on top, gave me the win. So it was a dramatic way, dang mosquito. It was a dramatic way to pull it out. I feel like I got some redemption after the debacle that was the Nickajack tournament. or I fell down in the water, lost my live bait, got drenched by a storm. Like, it was just one bad thing after another in the Nickajack tournament. But after that tournament, where I had all that stuff go wrong there at Nickajack, I found there was another one that splashed right there in front of us. After that tournament was over, I found a dead bird in my other kayak, in my pedal kayak. It had maggots all over it and stuff. I was convinced that was the source of my bad luck. Like, I don't know how that bird got in there. I don't know if it was just died of natural causes, maybe a cat, one of my neighbor girl's cats or something, maybe got a bird and had it in my kayak. Part of me thinks I had a hex put on me. There's some sorcery going on. Somebody put a spell and sacrificed a bird or something. I don't know. Either way, I had a dead bird covered in maggots in my other kayak. And when I got that out of there, it seemed like my luck started to change. So anyway, I got me some redemption up there in Ohio. And that's the first tournament I've won in Ohio now. So add that to the list of states I've won tournaments in. I'll tell you this, y'all, and I'm petty like this. I've got a pettiness about me. I'm a spiteful person when people cross me. And so one of the things I have heard for years in the YouTube comment box and social media and stuff, you know, the cesspool that is social media. One of the things I've always heard with my YouTube channel is that I'm just not that good a fisherman. You know, I'm fishing down here in East Tennessee. Let me kill this mosquito. Missed him. But one of the things people always say to try to discredit me and my catches is that I live in East Tennessee. And everybody in East Tennessee catches big catfish. That's what they claim. They always want to say, well, if you come to where I live, you wouldn't catch those kind of fish. You wouldn't be able to do that here. You couldn't compete against us. Blah, 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 blah. It's just jealousy, bitterness, pettiness on their part. It's just them trying to discredit me. So I love it. I absolutely love it when I go to these other states and I win. I've won tournaments now in North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Ohio. I finished second up in Kentucky there a couple months back on the Ohio River tournament we had there in Kentucky. So when I go to these other places and I catch big fish and I beat the people who have the guts to show up and fish in these tournaments. Yeah, that's another thing that just lights me on fire is when these people, I had them Carolina boys talking a lot of trash a few years ago. Then I go over the Carolinas and guess who don't show up to the tournaments? The guys running their mouths, you know, like they don't, like, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Like, I'll do it. And if I get beat, I get beat, but I don't have any hesitation to show up and put my money where my mouth is. Like, I'll put some skin in the game and go out there and try. These fellas, they run their mouth, they don't even show up. But it makes me feel good because I'm that spiteful. I love it when I go to these other places and not only catch big fish, but win tournaments and, you know, beat the other competitors, many of which who live in the area. It's just funny how them guys that run their mouth though, buddy, they don't show up to give me the credit. They try to discredit me by saying I only catch big fish right here, but when I go other places, you don't see them coming back eating their crow. They don't want to eat no crow now. They don't want to admit to it. They don't show up again. And they for damn sure don't show up in the tournaments. So anyway, add Ohio to the list of states I've now won tournaments in. Makes me feel good, y'all. I shouldn't be that spiteful of a person. I shouldn't like it that damn much, but I do. So that, and it's, you know, winning $3,000, that's a nice chunk of change, buddy. Very nice chunk of change. That's exciting. I had old Ryan Boards. I'm friends with Ryan, but we love beating each other. I had him raise my arm in victory there at the award ceremony too. That was nice. But I think right up there on the high feeling, if you will, of walking out of there with $3,100, whatever it was, it's the feeling of knowing that I just stuck it to all them people trying to discredit me. That feels pretty damn good too. So I'm almost thankful that so many people run their mouth at me, because every time I stick it to them and prove it wrong, it gives me that little dopamine hit. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't get that extra dopamine hit if they were all complimentary. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be so damn spiteful, but I am. Yeah, went up there, and you know, and I'll be the first to admit, like, I got a little bit lucky. All right, you got to get you got to get a little bit lucky to win a tournament. Like, there's skill involved. There's another buffalo right there. There's skill involved in going out and catching fish consistently, and I've done that everywhere I've went. But catching fish consistently only gets you so far in terms, like, you can have high finishes. You can get top 5s, top 10s in tournaments just by consistently catching fish. But to win one, like, you need the stars to kind of align for you. You need to get that big fish. You need to get it in a timely manner. Like, there's some things got to go right for you. So it does take a little bit of luck, and me certainly getting my biggest fish of the day, 20 minutes to go, I'll be the first to admit, you know, got a little lucky with that. But it was knowledge and experience that put me in that spot. My George Costanza philosophy, I didn't just go anchor down at random. Like, I found that point, the wind blowing in on it. It had been blowing in on it all day long. I'm like, there could be a lot of bait on that point right now, and maybe some fish there in the area nearby, and you know, it paid off. But yeah, it feels good, y'all. I like it. I like winning, but I really like sticking to them people that always trying to discredit me. Here we go. This fish ain't gonna discredit me. He ain't. Come on, fishy, don't go over there in them trees. Now on the other side, he's running that way. Swim to the right, fish. Cherry tomato. Yeah, you just stay right here in the middle of this creek. You can fight all you want right here. Stay out of them trees. Boy, so far so good with these first 3 fish, man. They have swam where we needed them to swim. Let's see what this one is. I don't know what he is yet. I ain't got to look at him. Can't see anything in this water. I think that's a carp. And it seems like the flow has stopped. It seems like we're just calm. They've done something up there at the dam. They must have. I've often wondered when that happens, if like they were letting out water, like maybe somebody was locking through the dam or something, and they were releasing water to lower that boat down and let them through or something. And so then it would force water up into the shallows, which in this case, like back in this creek. All right, I think he's done. What do you think? Maybe not. Come on over here, carp. We'll see. I may get a look at you here and decide to give you some front camera time. It'd make this fish's day. I don't know if I will or not, carp. I might. I'm feeling generous today. This carp here, he's never tried to discredit me before, so I'll do something nice for him. Okay, carp, let's get that old hook out your jaw. There we go. Yeah, he don't deserve it, but I'm feeling generous. Y'all help me out here. I'm not gonna put this fish on my Instagram, but he will probably put me on his. Admire my hat a second here while I'm bent over. There you go. All right, carp. We got battery problems up there too, y'all. Something's up in my battery pack. We'll see if we can remedy that in a second. See, carp, if I hadn't held you up there, I wouldn't have realized my battery pack doesn't seem to be working. You've done me a favor, carp. Enjoy that picture you just got with me. Old carp, he says he's gonna get him 2 or 3 extra Instagram followers because of me. I got battery pack problems here, y'all. My camera battery shouldn't be running down right now with the battery pack on. Let's see. Battery pack's dead. That would be why. Wonder why my battery pack's dead. Okay, well, lucky for us. I must have not charged that thing. Lucky for us, we're just going to, let me make sure this one's charged first. All right, we got a charge in this one. Y'all bear with me here. This is the downfall of unedited videos. Is when you got technical problems. This is just how it is. I don't want to have a disruption today though, as we're in a good spot here apparently to be getting us some fish today. This small creek, man, I'm telling you, it don't look like much, but you'd be surprised just how many fish are in these small creeks, especially in these summer months. Like they'll be up in here. All right, folks, just like that, we're back in business. Don't know why this battery pack did not charge. Could have been me. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot to plug it in. Hell, I don't know. You know how I am. I'm a little bit scatterbrained sometimes, as evidenced yesterday when I left this giant bag. I mean, how do you leave this sitting on your counter? Look, this ain't something you just overlook. I mean, by gosh, I done it. I don't know how I done it, but I done it. Walked right out of there. Grabbed the worms, grabbed the tomatoes, grabbed my camera bag, left the pack bait sitting on the counter. We're gonna put us another tomato on this one, and I think now that the flow is going back how it should, I think I definitely want to reel that middle rod in and see if it's still got a worm on there and see if it's got any pack bait, because it was out there more in the flow than the one on the left, and our line had really went slack there when that water first started to move. Okay, another tomato going on. I will say this though about these green tomatoes, if we can get fish to eat them consistently, that would be better than the red ones, because as what I had hoped, the green tomatoes, the skin's a little bit more firm on them, and so it is easier to run the hook through, and you know, without like fear of throwing it off on the cast. So that is a nice perk. Loosen that drag a little bit. Okay. I wonder if I couldn't, you know, we've had this sitting behind us. I wonder if I couldn't just, you know, I think I would rather have it sitting sitting behind us, I think. I think it'll be easier to get to back here. Let's do that. Now, let's check our dead worm. You think he's still dead on there? I bet you he didn't come back to life. Yeah, he's still on there. We'll put another one on there with him. I gotta get me some more worms. I can't believe them things died. They apparently died in that hour that Daniel and I ate lunch. Them things just couldn't handle the heat of my car. It's been so hot lately. It's just been miserable hot. It's gonna be hot today too, but it ain't bad out here. And you get out here at first light, even in these hot summer months, like, it's tolerable. And if you can stay in the shade, it's hard to stay in the shade when you're catfishing, because, you know, this time of year, if I'm catfishing, I'm gonna be out main channel, ledges and whatnot. So you're just kind of exposed to it out there. If the sun's out, like, you're gonna be, you know, where's my, how far you done lost the worms, y'all? Well, you get way back up in there somehow. You're just gonna be out there at the mercy of the sun if you ain't got no clouds or anything. But doing this carp fishing, you know, we can get back up in here in these creeks and really hide from that sun. Oh, them things are just slimy mess. Nastiness. Oh, boy, it stinks too. Like, it's rancid, y'all. Who knew a dead worm could stink so bad? Something so small could stink that bad. This is like, you know, people talk about catching catfish on stink bait. Like, this right here is legit stink bait. I wish, y'all remember hearing about, like, smell-o-vision? I remember hearing about it when I was a kid in the 80s. Like, if y'all had smell-o-vision right now, nobody would be watching this video. It's that bad. Okay. All right, rotting worm back out over there. We know there's some buffalo over there. We've seen them. We've caught one. Okay. I had some more good fortune too, y'all. So I got home from a tournament and I checked my messages. My phone had blown up, of course. Everybody, congratulations and stuff and whatnot, their tournament. And I had a message from one of my channel members, Lynn Loy. Her and her husband Will, huge supporters of my channel, have been for years. And she had messaged me to let me know that Will sent me, got me a present, and it was good to be on the lookout for it at my house. You know what they got me, y'all? A new Yeti cooler. I had mentioned months ago, I think it was a trip, January, February, it was before I went to Las Vegas, because I was talking about if I hit a jackpot out there in Las Vegas, I was going to splurge and get me a new cooler, because I saw the UT Orange, Tennessee Orange coolers, Yeti coolers up there at Academy when I'd went. And that was months ago. I said, I'd be doggone if they didn't get me a UT Orange Yeti cooler, and I ain't got it yet. But what I wanted to do, I got this Yeti 35 back here on this kayak. This size here, it ain't got a lot of space in there for storing a lot of bait, and I've got all this extra room here that I could have got a bigger size. And so, but I'm just too damn cheap. I just wasn't gonna do it. And so they got me the Rody 48, which is it's taller and a little bit wider, and I can fit a lot more bait in there. And I'm gonna take this one and put in my other kayak, because this size here is perfect for my pedal kayak because it fits that back tank wheel perfectly. So I'm gonna put it in my other one and put that UT Orange Yeti in this kayak when I get it. So yeah, thank y'all again to the Loys there. Super nice gift, man. I couldn't believe it. Like that's a very extravagant thing. They've sent me, they've been real supportive of my channel for a long time. Like they have done a lot for me. I'm very fortunate to have some of the people that I have in my channel members there. Like they've really went above and beyond for me. I've got a lot of people like that, but the Loys, man, they have done so much for me. It's awesome. They send Daphne stuff all the time. I ain't had to buy dog treats in forever. They sent Daphne some treats at Christmas, and by the time I was done with them, they had sent some more. So me and Daphne both benefit greatly. That was a nice surprise. Very thoughtful surprise. Again, I had mentioned that I wanted that thing back in, I'm pretty sure it was January, February. And so that was pretty awesome. I was just, I was too cheap to buy it for myself. But I would have definitely, when I bought this other one back here years ago, if that had UT Orange, I'd have totally got the UT Orange one. Yeah, I'll get that here soon. We'll put it in this kayak, switch the other one over to my other one. There's been so many times where I've wanted to either take more bait with me on a tournament, or if I was on a good bite with a skipjack or whatever, and I just couldn't fit them in. I couldn't fit any more in this cooler because it's even though it's a large cooler with the Yetis, the actual space inside the cooler, the actual storage area, kind of small for the size of the cooler. But I think that's part of why the ice lasts so long in those type of coolers. I mean, those coolers, they're very expensive. That one Will and Lynn got me, it's around $500. I mean, it's a very expensive cooler, but I've been an advocate for the expensive coolers for years because the money you save on ice, if you're a catfisherman and you're using cut bait regularly, like you're buying a lot of ice through the years. And depending on where you get the ice, like we got an ice machine a couple miles from my house, and it's a little bit cheaper. It was $2 a bag, then it went to $2.50, and now it's $3 a bag, $3.10 if you use a credit card. So inflation's hit the ice machines too, apparently. But you go to a gas station, you might pay $4 or $5 depending on that. And when you're using the cheaper coolers that don't store ice as long, like you're spending more money. So over the course of time, if you get an expensive cooler, it will eventually pay for itself in the money you save on ice. It might take a while at $3 a bag to get there, but eventually, if you fish as much as I do, you will eventually pay that cooler off in money saved with money saved on ice. But as cheap as I am, I just couldn't justify getting a second cooler. And I'm too lazy to be switching coolers back and forth. I got this one strapped in so it stays on the kayak when I'm going down the road, like on my trailer and stuff. So it's kind of a pain to unstrap it and put it in the other one. So I end up most of the time just using a cheaper cooler, little Igloo in my other kayak, which, again, I go through some ice because our line's jumping right here, our worm. I think he's got it. I think he's got it. He does, he's got it. Here we go again. Another one, he's making a run. Oh boy, he's running good. You think this is a buffalo? He's running awful hard. You think this might be a carp? I don't know. We've had so much success on the worms with buffalo lately. I throw out a worm, I'm almost expecting to get a buffalo at this point. Which is a huge change, because I really lacked confidence in catching buffalo. Really lacked it, because it's been so sporadic for me, and I haven't been consistent with the buffalo at all. I just haven't been any good with them. But something about the worms, man, they just like the worms. Pack bait and worm combo. Maybe I should have kept them other worms. Yeah, I threw them out yesterday. They were all moldy and stuff, but hey, oh, this is a buffalo. Pretty sure. Well, maybe not. Every which way he turns, he turns one way, looks like a buffalo, the other direction looks like a carp. Okay, it's a carp, I see him. I see the orange on his tail now. Well, apparently carp like rotted worms too. How about that? It's just so awesome, man. This creek, and I've got videos. I can't remember if I fished here last year or not, but I know the year before I fished this creek, and I caught fish here then too. Like, it's a small creek, but it's off the main channel of the river, of the Tennessee River, and these fish move up in here. I'm convinced just about all these creeks will have, and there could be, we got him in a net. There could be some big cats up in here too at times. I wouldn't be surprised. It's just when you're fishing, well, that's our biggest carp of the day right here so far. This one's got a little weight on him. It's just if you're trying to catfish up in here, you're gonna get turtled to death. You throw out cut bait in this shallow water in the summer months, but there's a million turtles. Like, you're gonna get turtled to death. But the turtles ain't gonna mess with these cherry tomatoes and your fake corn. Whoa, here we go behind us. Oh, did he just drop it? He dropped it. Oh, let's set that back. We'll rebait on that one in a minute. Oh man, this fish, the hook went through my net, went through his mouth and through the net. It went through that webbing part right there. I think it may be past the barb too, potentially. Maybe not. Okay, we got lucky right there. I don't know what he's done. There it goes, okay. There. All right, carp, let's get you some front camera time there, good buddy. Let's try to make this fish's day, y'all. I didn't know what he was at first. He ran like a carp, then I thought he was a buffalo. He got him a mouthful of nasty worm though, didn't he? Nasty old rotted worms. The orange on his tail. He's a little bit thicker fish right there. I think this is the biggest carp of the morning so far. Sitting here all calm, buddy. I guess we wore him out or something. I don't know. I'm happy to get him either way though, man. It's fun, man. Again, I love this type of area. We can just come back here, be completely secluded, you know, thinking I'm seeing daggone Bigfoot over there. Like, it's just, I love places like this. I'm gonna love it even more if we hook us another buffalo. I don't even care how big it is. I just want to get another one. People, you know, again, people have told me, Justin, you need to get out there and the main channel, deeper water and stuff, and fish for these fish. And undoubtedly, we'd probably catch them out there, probably get some big ones out there. But I just really enjoy the seclusion of places like this. Get back here and just in nature. Birds and squirrels and turkey. I saw some deer coming up through here this morning. And it's just, I like it, man. Even if we are potentially shortchanging ourselves on the size of the fish, like the fish we get are big enough. I enjoy them. I was about to put a tomato on now. Let me grab the worms. You know, I mean, they're big enough with the tackle I use to have a dang good time. And you know, when you're fishing shallow water like this, and you're dealing with the size of the fish we're getting, like it's enjoyable for me anyway. I mean, hell, maybe not for all of you, but for me. This thing's so nasty. Golly, bum, these worms are nasty. Phew, golly, bum, they stink so bad. Put the lid back on that thing, try to cover up the smell best we can. It didn't help. My fridge smelled a lot better once them worm containers were out, I'll tell you that. I couldn't figure out, like, because I don't keep stuff like that in my fridge. Like, I don't keep leftovers necessarily in the fridge. Oh, I thought we was going to have to rebait in a second, and we're hooked up again here. Oh, let me get this and reset. We're going to reel in the back. Again, I bet you anything, our tomato got knocked off after that last fish, but we still had our fake corn on here. So we still had another bait on the hair rig, and it just got eat here while we were fooling with the other fish and get rebaited. He's over there in them okay, here he comes. The one on the left over here up front that's shallower, we're not getting any action at all. The two rods we've got out in the deepest water, which I didn't have my graph on, but I assume it's somewhere between 5 and 8 feet deep, just based on history and all. But they're out there in the deeper part of the creek, it seems like. It's the carp with the hot pink corn. And I assume the tomato was gone after that last run. We don't know that for sure, but either way, having a bait on the hook and then the plastic corn there on the hair rig, it gives us multiple options. And those carp, when they come through, and I've watched videos of this, there are people on the YouTube and whatnot that have put underwater cameras down to watch these carp feed. And I've seen them, like, they'll go into that chum pile and the pack bait and stir that stuff up and suck that stuff up there. So, you know, to me, I know the carp, oh, get in that net now. Get in that net, act like somebody. There you go. You know, carp fishermen certainly claim that the hair rigs get you better hookups. But I mean, I've caught a bunch of fish before I ever went to the hair rig just by hooking kernels of corn directly on the hook. And so I think, you know, when they're sucking that stuff up, like, if they get it, whether it's the hair rig or a bait on the hook, like, they're gonna get it, you know. You just got to get them over there and get them eaten in the area that you've got your bait. That's the challenge, is putting your bait where they're at. Like, that's the hard part. We got a bait in front of this fish, didn't we? We sure did, and you ain't getting no front camera time, buddy. You're gonna get the chest cam view right there. You're welcome for that, fish. We'll see you. But when you're in a tight area like this, it ain't hard necessarily to get your bait in front of it. You just need them to work through. Because when you got when you got a tight area like this and you got just a little bit of flow like we've got, they're gonna pick up on your scent. Like they can't not find it in this tight of an area. Now, a place where I've been fishing lately, the last 2 carp trips, maybe 3 carp trips, is a shallow creek, but it's much wider. And of course, regular viewers, you've seen it. So in that creek, like you kind of have to have, and don't have any flow. So we kind of have to have fish come find our bait. Like we need them working through the area. Here, like we just need them to move through the creek. Like it don't matter what side they go on. It don't matter if they're near the surface or swimming along bottom. Like they're going to find our baits. And boy, they're fine. Oh, there was something splashing down there in front of us, in front of our other lines. We're on them today. Put us another cherry tomato. Boy, these cherry tomatoes too, I've been getting them every day. Like they're a snack to me. I eat these cherry tomatoes all the time. I'm sick of cucumbers at this point. I've got so many cucumbers. My cucumbers make up such a small part of my raised bed, but boy, they produce. All right, here we go. Another tomato rig. Just a light toss right over there, middle of this creek, right there behind us. Put it back in the back rod holder and we're fishing again. Tighten up my line, there we go. Okay, back in the game, folks. Yeah, man, we've got several fish now. I mean, we're here just over an hour in. Like, I mean, it wouldn't have shocked me at all if it had taken this long to get our first bite. Because, I mean, again, I'm motoring up through here this morning in this, just a few feet of water. I had to be coming right over the top of the heads of these fish. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that wide, like I had to be. Maybe the muddy water helped. Maybe they didn't spook as easily because of the muddy water. I don't know. Either way, they're here now, so. And now, it's been long enough now, like any fish we did spook, whatever they were doing, possibly in this area or trying to work through this area, like they should be unaffected by us now. Bear with me a second. I'm gonna get me a swig of water and I'm gonna tell you a story. I had a moral dilemma at the tournament. 2 moral dilemmas, really. I'm gonna tell you that story. I'm gonna get y'all's take on this. So, and this is damn near criminal, what was going on up there at the tournament. Like, I don't know how this company, let me tell you about this company first. I'm gonna kick back here, relax a second here. I'm gonna try to point the camera at them rods so you can see. So let me tell you about this company, and then let me tell you what happened. Because again, I got caught in a moral dilemma, 2 moral dilemmas, and I want to get your take on both of the moral dilemmas and then just this situation with this company. So we're up there on Hoover Reservoir, and Hoover is, you know, it's a smaller body of water there in Ohio. It's I don't know how big it is, but it's, I mean, like, it's a nice sized body of water. Like, you don't have to be fishing on top of people or anything. There's space out there on the water, but as far as access, I think there's only like 3 ramps, maybe 4 ramps on the entire reservoir. And so again, I was fishing on the upper end of the reservoir, and that's where our tournament check-in was at the Oxbow ramp. So pretty busy ramp. Like when we got back there in the afternoon, like every parking space was full. People were parking in the grass. Like it's a busy area there, especially on a weekend, which our tournament was. And so there is a company up there that rents kayaks. They show up there, I guess they're on the weekends, and people can rent kayaks for either a few hours, the whole day, whatever you want. And here's the thing with this company, and I ain't talking bad about it. I mean, I am. I'm about to talk real bad about them. I don't know who they are. Like, I don't know the people that owns it. I don't know the name of the company. Like, I don't know anything about them. I don't know their situation. But here's what I do know. In Ohio, if you want to have a fishing tournament, you have to have a permit. Like, our tournament director had to get a permit to use that location for our tournament. Okay? You know, here in Tennessee, you don't have to do that in Tennessee. If you want to have a fishing tournament in Tennessee, you just set the date and the time and people show up. Like you might have 5 tournaments launching out of the same ramp sometimes. Some of these bass tournaments are like that. It's just how it is. Like you don't have to have a permit. Like you're just, whatever you want to do, you do it. But in Ohio, it's not like that. Our tournament director got the permit. Like we have access to the ramp that day. Now other people, the public can still use it, but there shouldn't be other tournaments going on or other businesses using that ramp during that time. Oh, fish, hold on, to be continued. Here we go again, another nice run on the worms. Dead worm getting it done. But we're getting our money's worth out of them worms. Them things $5 a tub, them old Canadian night. That's probably why they don't survive the heat. Because they're Canadian worms. They're probably used to them colder temperatures. I bet an American worm would have survived an hour in my car in 100-degree heat. This fish here feels pretty good, man. This in here, he just feels kind of solid, y'all. Like this feels like pretty good fish. He's not really fighting. He was, but now he ain't. I'm just tugging on weight right here. Has he got me in something possibly? He's still there. I almost feel like I'm pulling him in something else. Oh my gosh, has he got me in? I think he's got me in something. I think he's got me in a tree. I hope he comes out of it. He's still on, but I'm in something solid. Gotta be careful, I'm gonna cut my hand on that braid when he runs like that. I'm in something. We're in trouble with this one, y'all. I don't know that we're gonna get this one landed unless he just goes back the way he came. If he doesn't lap around a branch, like we're not going to be able to. That's weird. It's weird that he got in it up here. I knew something wasn't right. Like he felt just way bigger than he was. I can't. We're definitely in something over there, one of them trees. Let me just give him a little slack here and see what happens. See if he can find his way out or get us tied up even more. I got a feeling we're going to be breaking this one off, unfortunately. Daggone it. I'd like to have just got to look at it and just see what he is. I'm definitely not, though. I'm definitely not going to try to go get him right now. One, I don't want to, I'd have to raise my power poles up to go over there and try to untangle him. I don't know if we could get him untangled. Depends on how deep he's ran around a log. And the other thing too, we turn this motor on, we're gonna spook any other fish that are here. So I'd rather just give him a little time here, see if he can get out of this thing. And then just break him off if that don't work. We'll let him have that rig. May end up straightening that hook out just trying to get it out of him. I feel it rub. We're rubbing across that tree or whatever. Oh, he just come out of it. We just got him out. Boy, we got lucky today. He just come out of it right there. You are a smart fish. You went back the way you came, apparently. Yeah, that ain't a bad fish right there, buddy. That ain't bad. But boy, we got lucky, didn't we? Get in there. Get in that net. Don't you dare pop free now. After we went through all that, I want to land you. We earned you, fish. Look at this slob. Look at that right there, buddy. That's a good one. We got so lucky to get him. I did not think we were getting that one free. I didn't think it was going to happen. That fish, Justin, that's what you get for thinking. You got to have a little bit more faith in me, fish. There you go. All right, man, look at that. Look at the belly on that thing, buddy. Nice. Okay. Worms, buddy. The worms. I'm a believer in the worms. Carp and buffalo now. Dead or alive. Don't matter. Oh, come on. Dadgummit. He's got his fin in my net. Let's set him back down. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, he's got one of them old Dunlop bellies Dunlopped over his belt right there. He's got some weight on him for his size. Oh, love it, man. Get on out of here, fish. Thanks for swimming out of that tree for us. Yes, y'all. I'll give you a fist pump just for getting him out of the tree over there. I thought we were losing that rig for sure. I didn't think we were getting that one back. Okay. What do you say we put us on another worm? I think that's a brilliant idea. I wish now I hadn't thrown out them old other moldy ones. They were just, boy, they were nasty. They must have just died instantly in the heat, and then I stuck them back in the fridge, and they've been in the fridge for a while now. Okay, let me get you all here back in the chest while we get everything situated. Yeah, apparently we only need these 2 rods, because that other one up there on the front left just ain't got anything going up there. It may be too shallow or something. I don't know. Just don't matter to me what they hit. I don't care if they want to hit the tomatoes or the worms, left rod, right rod. Don't matter. I just want to catch them. I wanted to come out here and have some fun today. Before it got so dang hot, we couldn't stand it. It still feels pretty good right now. And then I'm going to tell you this story about these stupid people, multiple stupid people in Ohio. Oh boy, it's nasty. Fellas, if you want to use dead worms to catch you some fish, I wouldn't. If I was you, I'd do it on a day where you fishing by yourself. If you're trying to get your girlfriend or your wife to go fishing with you, you don't want to probably be using this bait then. Because she probably ain't gonna want to handle them nasty, slimy, dead worms, and she for dang sure ain't gonna want to smell them. And I just pulled my power pole free when I leaned over. There we go. Okay, let's send it back out. All right, got it back in the game. Yeah, so anyway, up there in Ohio, obviously got to have the permit there to have your tournament. But you know who don't have to have a permit is these businesses. And in this case, some kayak rental business, they ain't got to have no permit. So they show up there, they got, hell, I don't know, 20 kayaks laid out right there next to the ramp. They're tying up the ramp space. Everybody's trying to back their boats and kayaks and everything else in, like that's where they're launching people out of. Real pain in the ass. And I thought, well, that's pretty stupid. I mean, smart business move on them, I guess, because they didn't got to go through no paperwork or nothing. No hassle. They can just show up whenever, wherever. There was another carp right down there in front of that line. But I thought it's kind of stupid that they don't have to jump through the same hoops that the tournament do. But anyway, aside from that, and this is where I'll piss some people off. Again, I don't know who these people were. I don't know what this company's name was. But they should not have been out there on this particular day. The wind on tournament day, folks, and I don't know what it'll look like on video, because with the cameras, these action cameras have, I forget what it's called, like motion stabilization. What it does, these cameras have these features to where, like, if you're, let's say I'm on an electric bike with Daphne, it like eliminates some of the bumping, or if you're running with the camera or whatever, you don't want the picture quality just bouncing around like crazy. So it helps eliminate that. They got features in there that do that, right? Well, one of the things those motion stabilization does, unfortunately, is that days where you're out on the water and the conditions are real choppy, sometimes you review the footage and it don't look as choppy as what it really is, just because of that motion stabilization features, right? So anyway, I don't know what it looked like out there, but it was pretty daggone choppy, because I mean the wind was just relentless, 20 plus mile an hour, just all day long. And here you go, you've got this damn kayak company, and it ain't like they're renting out nice kayaks, folks. These are those cheap $200 Tractor Supply, Walmart type kayaks. Sit inside, very unstable kayaks, and they're letting people rent these out that I saw some of them out there. They clearly had no business being out there in those conditions, in those kayaks. Because I mean, it's unsafe to put somebody brand new to kayaking in one of those kayaks anyway, because they're so unstable. But you put them out there in a 20-mile-an-hour wind with that kind of chop, like those kayaks, they're tippy anyway. You get some water in there, boy, they get a lot more tippy real fast. And so they're putting people out there in real dangerous situations. Like they should not have been out there renting kayaks on that day. Aside from the fact they shouldn't be allowed to do that anyway when a tournament or organization, whatever, has a permit to use that ramp. Like they shouldn't be out there, I don't feel like, in that situation anyway, but apparently they can. Apparently permits don't apply to businesses like that, so they're able to go do it. So anyway, whether I think they should be able to or not is irrelevant. That's my opinion. Their opinion is the complete opposite, and they're within their rights to do so, so more power to them. But from an ethical standpoint, when you're out there putting people brand new in kayaks, taking money from them and putting them in harm's way, like that I got a problem with. And nobody should have been in one of those kayaks in those conditions on that body of water. Like you should not have done it. But they were renting out kayaks left and right. Like I saw a bunch of people out there in them lousy kayaks. So anyway, here's the moral dilemma, the two moral dilemmas that I'm in. It was inside the final hour of the tournament. I had caught, I was spot locked there on that point. I had caught my first big fish, but I had not caught my second one yet. So it was within that time period where like I'm in fourth place, I'm one bite away from cashing a check, and I'm running out of time. Okay, that's the scenario that I am in that situation. Up above me, I see this guy, and at first he was at the distance right there, and I saw the kayak, and I saw him in the water, and at first I thought like, the kayak was sitting so low in the water, I wasn't sure it was a kayak. I thought maybe it was like a paddleboard. And I first saw him and I'm like, why the hell is this dumbass out here swimming beside his paddleboard out here in open water? Like that's just, it's dangerous. You know, the paddleboards set so low in the water, they're hard to see anyway. It's oftentimes hard to see kayaks in the water, but really hard to see paddleboards. And so if you're swimming beside your paddleboard, like you're at risk getting run over. But anyway, I see him and he keeps coming toward me. Coming along. And I'm like, if this guy don't start paying attention, like he's gonna like run right into me. And the closer he got, the more irritated I'm starting to get. Well, meanwhile, over here to my left, like I'm set up on the point and there's a little cove or pocket goes back in here. There's another boat. I think they were crappie fishing maybe. They had lighter rods, it looked like. But they were trolling and coming along, so like, I mean, there's a good distance between me and the boat. Like they're not encroaching upon me, but like they're almost even with me as far as our distance in relation to this guy who's coming at basically between us now. And so I heard one of the guys in the boat holler at this guy and ask him if it's okay. And that's when I realized this guy is not on a paddleboard. It's one of them cheap ass kayaks that this company's renting out there at the ramp. He has flipped this thing and I guess couldn't get it back up right because it got so much water in it. Because I mean, it was just barely above the surface. And so he's out there swimming beside this kayak, no life jacket on, trying to, I guess, swim and use the wind to get to the shore. And so the boat asks him if he needs help. And he says, no, I think I can make it. And again, first moral dilemma I'm at here, it's like, okay, I'm out here filming a YouTube video. Now I was doing an edited video because the tournament days are 8 hours. I can't talk for 8 straight hours for an edited video. And I don't know who the hell would want to watch. Some of you probably would. Or maybe I could break it up, and some people have suggested break it up into 2 parts. But like, bottom line, I was doing an edited video that day, so I didn't have my camera running continuously. I was turning it on for talking points or fish or whatever. But I'm sitting there watching this dumbass. At first I thought he was just some dumbass on a paddleboard swimming. I didn't, you know, and I was even then at a moral dilemma, like, should I turn on my camera and film this interaction that I knew I was going to have if he got up on me here? So I was in a moral dilemma, like, should I film that? And then once I realized that he had flipped his kayak, he was obviously having a bad day, then I'm in a real moral dilemma. I'm like, should I film this guy who was obviously inexperienced, shouldn't have been in that situation, but I don't blame him, honestly. I blame the company for putting people out there in that situation. You know, if you've never done something before, you don't know what you don't know. Like a company like that that's going to rent kayak, you got to protect people from themselves in a sense, protect them from their own ignorance. Like you shouldn't be putting people, the type of people who's going to be renting those kayaks have no business being on the water in 20-mile-an-hour winds. in that kind of chop, okay? They just don't. So I put the full blame on the responsibility of the company in that situation. So I was in a real moral dilemma, like, do I turn the camera on because this guy's having a bad day? He's got himself in a bad situation. A situation that's really, I don't view as being his fault. Should I film that? And I ultimately decided not to because, you know, again, like moral dilemma. On a different day, maybe I would have, maybe if I was in a different mood or whatever, I don't know. Maybe I would have. But in that moment, I decided not to. So anyway, the boat guys already talked to him. And he was like, yeah, I think I can make it. And then as he got closer to me, I was like, you doing okay there, buddy? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty tired, but I think I can make it. And then I'm like, well, crap. What do I do now? Because, you know, again, I'm in a tournament. I'm one bite away from cashing. I'm running out of time. I don't have time to reel everything up, go over here, grab this guy. Like, I can't. His kayak's full of water. Like, I'm not going to be able in my kayak to assist him back into his. Now, what I could have done was like, had him grab onto my kayak and motor him to shore. That's a possibility. But again, I don't have time for that in a tournament. So I'm in a moral dilemma. I'm like, he says he's okay, but he's obviously swam a long ways because I'd been watching him come in for a while, like, you know, to the point, like, again, I thought it was a paddleboard at first. And I'm like, should I just take him at his word and let him swim to shore? Like, I can see the shore. Like, he's going to get there. Or do I do the courteous thing and reel everything up and ruin my tournament to help him along? Like, what do I do in that? Well, I'm going to reel a fish in right now. I'm going to do that right now on the dead worm. Hold on, to be continued again. We got another one. Dead worm getting it done, buddy. Come on this side, fish. Move to the left. I don't want you getting in that tree that the last one got me in. You need to swim to the left. There you go. Go any direction you want as long as it's, oh, back rod. We're doubled. We're doubled. Let's deal with the one in the hand. Let's get him over here and get him closer, and we'll put him back in the rod holder and we'll get the other. Man, we're doubled up here. Meanwhile, the left rod up here still can't get any action. We need to reel that other one in. Okay, that's a nice carp right there. That's a good one. I want to set him back though because this one is running over here toward these trees. The direction he was not supposed to go. He is all up in them trees. I feel him. Oh. Okay, I felt something give right then. I think maybe he come out of it. We'll tighten down a little more. Oh, he's still rubbing me across a branch. Oh, is he still on? Did he come off? He's got us in a tree over here, man. I couldn't pick up on him. I was fighting the other. I can't get y'all to do a damn thing. Why you let this? It's y'all's fault this fish is in this tree. If you had picked up on that rod when he first took it down, this wouldn't have happened. I can't get you all to lift a finger out here. I got a bait every hook. I got to deal with all them stinky worms. And you got an opportunity to reel in a fish, and I can't even get you to do that, man. I think the fish is gone. I don't feel him at all anymore. I'm in that tree solid too. Dang, man. I'm gonna give it a little slack. We'll put it back here in the rod holder. We'll see if he is still on, maybe he comes out. I think he's come free though. I think he's gone. I think he wrapped us up good and pulled free. At least we won't have a fish with a rig in his mouth, which is nice. I don't like doing that to fish. But I think we're probably going to end up losing that rig. let's at least land this one. This one here is smart enough not to get in no tree. Notice the one that I was reeling in, that I was responsible for here. Notice he didn't get in the tree. The one y'all was responsible for in the back, we done lost the fish and we're gonna lose the rig. Y'all lousy fishing partners today. I need you to do better. Come here, Carp, this is a good one, buddy. This is another good one right here. Okay. Yes. Boy, y'all, look at that. There's another one. You know, and again, it's not just the size of the fish, it's the size of the creek that he's in. Like, this is awesome. Oh, man. I love it. Oh, no, worm. I'm getting me some more worm. I'm gonna have worms with me on every carp trip, y'all. Like, this is, I mean, this has been, and I don't know if it's a seasonal thing or what, because I've just, you know, really been using them here. Well, I guess the last month or so now, I've been using the worms more. But like, it's been a, oh crap, this one's got his fin in the net too. But it's been a consistent bite with them worms for the carp and the buffalo. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to hold him up. Look at that thing. Nice. And it's got some nice orange on his tail too, good thing. Boy, they're fun, man, they're fun. I love when that drag starts peeling. It gets me excited every time, it never gets old. But I mean, seriously though, like, that's a good sized fish for the size of the creek we're in that's no wider than this, man. And again, it's got depth to it. It leads out to the main channel. Out here in the main channel, this is the shallower section of the river, but it's still like 30 feet deep out there where the creek dumps out. So, I mean, you know, they've got fairly quick access to deep water from this creek, but like, you know, they're moved up here pretty shallow, you know. It's awesome. Let's work on, let's get our worm rig back out. And then I guess we're gonna have to break this off. I ain't seen a fish pull no more or nothing. I'm pretty sure he's gone. We're gonna lose the rig today. It'd be all right. These rigs, again, these are the Amazon specials. They're like $1. So it ain't a huge loss. I'm cheap, I don't like losing anything, but still. There's worse travesties. Let me get somebody's calling me. Let's see who it is. Telemarketer. I'll tell you, yeah, them telemarketers, man, the more numbers you block, they keep coming up with new lines to call you from. Now, I didn't think they were supposed to be able to call no more, but I get calls from them every single day. Without fail, every day. Yeah, I want to finish up the story, though, on this idiot company. And, you know, and I guess there has to be some responsibility on the people, too. Like, you know, I know they went out there to have a fun day on the lake, but, like, it shouldn't have took them very long to realize that wasn't the day to be out there. Like, they had to have some sense that they were in danger, I would assume. I mean, I've been kayak fishing for a long damn time, and I know when I'm in a bad situation. Even now, you know, I'm comfortable in a lot, but like, you know, I know when I get on the water sometimes, well, like, you know, this kayak here, when I filled up with water, I damn near sank this thing. Back a month or two ago, we had all that rain, and I got myself in a bad situation. Like, I could feel the kayak, like you just know when something ain't right. You know, like a person There was another big splash right there in front of us. A person should have a little common sense. They may not have known that they shouldn't have rented the kayak that day, but once they got on the water, maybe they should have known, like, okay, this ain't going well, we should go back to shore. And hell, maybe the guy did. Maybe he did realize that and was trying to go back to shore and ended up upside down. You know, hell, I don't know the situation. Okay, well, we got us another rotted worm, some more pack bait out. Let's work on this one now. Here's what we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna get my line. We're gonna have to wrap this line around something. I'm gonna use my rod extension here, my Catfish bank rod extension. About to lose that dang rod overboard. Actually, I may have just pulled it free, actually. I may have pulled the rig free without actually having to break off, potentially. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's save us that extra $1. As I've got my line wrapped around everything here. Okay. Let's see what happened here. Let's see what we got going on. All right, we got a rig back. Did we get our hook too? We did. Is it all bent out though? It's all up in that feeder, ain't it? Okay, well, hey, crisis averted. We got the whole rig back. I guess we just broke that branch off or something right there we was hung in. Nice, boy, our luck continues today. Our good fortune has continued. Sometimes it's just your day, folks, and I've been on a good run. Got lucky up there at Hoover, won the tournament. Will and Lynn sending me that fancy Yeti cooler that I wanted, UT Orange. Getting rigs back today. Got us a buffalo, got several carp here. Like, it's a good day. It's a real good day. Okay. Let's put us another. I just broke a little branch off of my tomato plant with these unripened tomatoes on. Yeah, they're about the size of they almost look like grapes almost. But I mean, compared to the kernels of corn, they're significantly bigger, but I think any of the carp that we've got today could easily get that in their mouth. Okay, we got it back out. Now listen, if I'm hooked up with a double again, one of y'all grab this stinking rod. I can't do it all myself here when we're doubled up. Like a boy could use some help. All right, back in the game. But yeah, to finish the story, if we can, I'm in two moral dilemmas, because I'm like, first off, should I film this mess? I'm documenting my day out there. This is obviously part of my day. Should I film it? I ultimately decided not to. Now, if I'm in that situation again, who knows? It really just depends on my mood and whatnot. But at that moment in time, I decided not to. And then there was the moral dilemma, like, this guy says he's tired, but he can make it. The responsible thing to have done would have been to reel up my lines and help the boy out. Had I done that, I wouldn't be coming home with $3,000 in my pocket either. You know what I mean? Like, it would have cost me the tournament. So, and he did. I watched him. You know, if he had had problems, for sure I would have went and got him. But like, he did make it on his own to the shore. He was fine. But like, you know, one of them situations, like, what do you do in that situation? Like, and again, the guys in the boat, they let him go on too. They checked on him. He said he was okay. They kept on fishing. I asked him, said he's okay. So I'm like, you know, what do you do? You know, what do you do in that situation? I don't necessarily want to force my help on somebody. Look right here. Look right here. The daggone worm. That thing ain't been out there long. Well, he turned quick, didn't he? He's coming back at us now. The dead worm getting it done, man. Old stink bait carp fishing. Now, don't go toward that side right there, carp. We ain't doing no trees now. I assume this is a carp. I may be calling something else a carp. No, it is. It is. Common. I hope, you know, here's something else to think about today. Maybe keep your fingers crossed for, is for us to catch a mirror carp. I ain't got a mirror carp in a while. Like, it's been a long time. I'd got them like 2 trips in a row. I was on a streak, and then I ain't got one since. Okay. Get over here, good buddy. Get over here in that net. There we go. There we go. Now let's quit that splashing now. You done got me. Hope you didn't get these people. Maybe it'd wake them up so they grab a rod next time though. If they get splashed in the face one time. Nope. Oh, hey, easy. Easy peasy. You know what? You blew your chance at front camera time with all that flopping around. I was going to consider it, now I ain't. You done went and done it. Boy, he don't want to calm down for nothing, does he? He's soaking up his moment of fame. There you go, fish. I done got you unhooked. It means it's time to go. Let's hold you out here like that. We'll give you some chest cam time with my chest cam that's crooked. You gone, buddy. Well, here's what I want to do now. While y'all are thinking about the moral situation and what you would have done with the dumbass kayaker, we're obviously going to cast this one back out into the worm. I'm going to reel in this one on the left here, and because we're not getting bit over there where we're at, I think I'm going to obviously rebait because it's time. I'm going to try to, we're playing with fire if I do this, I'm going to try to move it a little bit to the right. Move it out just a little bit more, a little bit deeper. We may regret it if we get a tangle, but I'm feeling lucky today, man. We done got lucky a little bit here. Getting a fish out of a tree earlier, then getting a rig out of a tree. So when you own a heater, when your luck's running good, you got to just keep rolling with it. You can't leave the table on a heater. Let's see, give me that hook right there. I don't know how many more dead worms we got in here. This was one of them containers that I had left over. We had used part of it. I think I had. There's still several in there. Times get hard. We get down toward the last of them, we'll just start cutting them in half or something and make them last a little longer. They're so slimy and it's just, rotted that any fish that we catch is probably gonna throw them off the hook. Like, I had to do a double take again. I stump over there. I swear it's a daggone Sasquatch. We'll see a picture on social media next time somebody comes to this creek during low light on a foggy morning, and they'll swear it's a Bigfoot sighting. Yeah, let's reel this thing in. We're just not getting any action on it here where we've had it super shallow. We're gonna, I've knocked my mater off though. Yeah, let's just try something here. Let's try moving it a little bit more toward the deeper water. It can't hurt. Worst case scenario, we get us a tangle. We've done it before. I'm having a good day though, y'all. This is fun. I like carp fishing. And especially when you go carp fishing and you're getting this kind of action where it's just it's consistent bites, like this is a good time. Throw in the fact that I'm using tomatoes that I've grown myself and getting bit, like that's rewarding. I was at the grocery store last time that I'd restocked on my carp bait. I'd gotten some lima beans, a can of lima beans and a can of peas. Now I used the lima beans, I think when I was with, I'm wanting to say I was with the trip with Daniel. Yeah, that's a little bit more to the right. I think it was the trip with Daniel I used the lima beans, but I've still got the can of peas I'm gonna try out at some point too. So we're gonna try the peas also and see what we can get. Look at this rod jumping right here. It's about to take off again. We're about to catch another one right here. That line's, I think he's got it. That line's slack. I'm gonna just jerk his jaw off. If I feel weight, I'm jerking it. Here we go. Got him. Got him. I'll catch up to him. I think he'd come back at me a little bit. Oh no. I wish I hadn't have. Dadgummit. It's bound to happen. Using stink bait, what you gonna catch? Some danged old channel cats. Now I know I just went to Sandusky Bay a couple weeks ago, and I'll admit them larger channel cats are a little bit fun to catch. And I know when I went to Ohio for the Hoover trip, I had planned on going to Sandusky again to catch them old channel cats. But this one right here, I had no desire to catch. You wasted a worm, channel cat. You're the reason I hate channel cats, because fish your size get down there and just chew up your pieces of cut bait when you're catfishing. Like they'll just ruin baits. And they've ruined my relationship with channel cats. The baby ones like that. Because we just don't get channel cats here where I live. We don't get them the size that they grow up there on Sandusky Bay. Like, it's just not, I don't know why. I assume it's probably just food competition between the blues, because we have such a large population of blue cats here. But yeah, danged old channel cat, man. That's the carp fishing trifecta, I will call it, because we've got carp, buffalo, and channel cat. I guess now really the only thing we're lacking on this trip is a turtle, which I wouldn't expect. Well, I don't know. Everything seems to be liking the dead worms, so maybe the turtles will too, potentially. They certainly like live worms. I've caught some turtles on recent trips on the live night crawlers, but I don't know how they feel about the dead ones. They certainly like dead fish, because I mean, again, if you were if we were catfishing and trying to throw out some cut bait in this creek, we would have undoubtedly been turtled by now. You know, folks, it's getting cloudy. Like, I wonder if we're gonna get wet out here. I did not think it was supposed to. We had a chance of storms this afternoon. I didn't think anything was supposed to be going on this morning, but the wind has picked up a little bit and it's gotten cloudy. I'm not even going to bother looking at radar because as far away from the car as we are, like, we're toast, man. If a storm hits, if it starts pouring down rain, like, we're just gonna have to deal with it. It ain't like I could make a quick run to to the car, you know, like there's nowhere to go out here. There's nowhere to go hide. There's no nothing. So we're gonna have to deal with it. But I don't have an umbrella, I don't have a rain suit, I don't have nothing with me. So I don't even want to look at radar. I don't even want to know. If it starts raining, it just starts raining, but I don't even want to know what's coming. But it does seem odd, like the wind just started picking up and it's gotten real cloudy all of a sudden. On a positive note, the clouds will keep us from baking in the sun as it gets later in the morning here. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's one of them days, you know how it is in the summer. Like just about every afternoon you've got a chance of scattered thunderstorms, just pop-up storms, but I didn't think nothing was going to happen this morning. I gotta get me another swim. Y'all keep pondering on the moral dilemma here while I get me a drink of water. I'm gonna tell you another moral situation too. And this is one I think this might be kind of a legal situation, honestly. I don't know how this kind of thing exists. I'm gonna tell you a story though about Pro Moderator. It's honestly funny as hell. I don't know that he'll be happy about me telling you this story, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, because hell, what are we here? We're over 2 hours in this video. The only people still watching at this point are people that really like me, and those of you that have been with me a long time, Pro Moderator's been on my videos before. There's regular videos with him on here, and also too live streams. He's done some moderating, some old live streams. So a lot of you maybe know Pro Moderator. He got himself in a situation the other day. So last week, was it last? Oh, hell, my days running together. It's the other day. My girlfriend sends me a text message. And she says, you need to check on your boy. And then she sends me a screenshot of Pro Moderator. And his picture has been posted in a Facebook group in Knoxville called, Are We Dating the Same Guy? So there's a Facebook group, and these groups may be all over, I don't know, but there's one in Knoxville. It's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And these girls will get on there, and if they think their boyfriend or husband or whatever's cheating on them, they'll post a picture or their Facebook profile or whatever in this group, and other women will chime in if whether or not they've been with this other guy or this other guy's contacted them or whatever. So you know, my girlfriend's in this group. I think she's in there to kind of keep an eye on me, make sure I don't pop up in there or anything. And hold on, we got a fish. Y'all stay tuned. You don't want to miss this story. This is a good one. I don't know if the fish is a good one, but the story is. Oh man, he's up under them trees. He's way up under them trees over there, y'all. Oh, come on, fish, go the other way. You're begging to get us hung over there, fish. What are you doing? You're going the wrong way. Y'all get a hold of your fish here. You tell your fish where to swim, doggone it. Go to the left. Not so far left you're getting out of the line, but go to the left. What is this another channel cat? Is it another channel cat? Is that what we've got here? He's going to the left. Now here you go. You're going too far left. You're going to get us into the line. What are you doing? Okay, he went under it. Okay, we're good. He's going to go over here in these snake-infested bushes over here now. This fish is all over the map, buddy. He don't know where the hell he's going. Here, let's do this. He's coming this way. He's right here under the kayak now. That's a carp. As dumb as he was acting, I thought it must be a channel cat. All right, we're gonna land you on this side, I reckon, fish. You know, you done got the mud stirred up over here. We're sitting here just, my left power pole is in water that's a few inches deep. My right power pole is off a little deeper because it comes like straight off here kind of down to over there to the right by the tree line, you know, is the deepest part. Get in that net, there you go. Oh, fish. We got lucky again though. He got all the way over under them trees and we didn't get hung up. And he come back toward the other line, he didn't get it. Hell, we're even getting the worm back on this one. Boy, I tell you, buddy, we got it. We got part of the worm back, I should say. Part of it's back. They gave us a refund on half of it. I ought to give you some front camera time just for being considerate, fish, but hell, I want to get that line back out there and try to catch your friends. He says he got gypped, buddy. This fish got the raw end of the deal. He thought he was getting him at least a minute of camera time. And now he's out to kayak just like that. Well, man, what's an active bite? It is an active day, man. I really thought it was going to take longer to get bit today. Just because I had to go over the top of fish to get back here. I thought it would spook them something good, but it clearly has not. They were biting right away. And there's apparently a good number of fish in here because we just keep getting bit. And now we've got so much scent in the water with the flow that we have, just a little bit of flow. Like, I mean, it's undoubtedly a lot of these breadcrumbs have made it a good ways down in this creek by now. So, like, we're just gonna keep drawing them in. I keep wanting to reach for them tomatoes, but that was the worm. The worms have outfished the tomatoes. But we've got enough on the worms, on the tomatoes, that, like, I'm confident that that's a quality bait for the carp at least. Now, we ain't got no the only buffalo we've got's been on the worm, but there's something to the worms and buffalo. I'm convinced of it. And I don't know what it is that buffalo normally eat. They're obviously not finding Canadian night crawlers down there on the river bottom very often, unless it's got a hook in it. But there's something down there that's probably similar texture, smell, taste, something that they're eating on for them to be so into them worms. Well, let's try that again. Loosen our drag again for that initial run. There we go. And we got some more sludge, well, some more worm sludge left in there. We're drawing flies now. The daggone flies over here, they've smelt the stench of them worms. Lord. All right, so anyway, y'all, let me tell you it's about old Pro Moderator. So anyway, he's in this, his picture is in this group, and this girl he was dating has lit him up on there. He's done, her and him have done, you know, parted ways, and now she's lighting him up on there on that Facebook group. And so my girlfriend sees him in there and you know, messages me the screenshot and tells me to check on him. And so I send him a text message. It says busted. And it's got the screenshot. And he texts me back a while later and says, old news. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, this was just, the girl had just made this post that same day, like earlier that morning there. I couldn't figure out what the hell he meant by it. Well, anyway, he calls me a little while later, and he's like, where'd you find that old thing at? I'm like, what do you mean that old thing? Like, this is just from a little while ago. He's like, well, hell, I thought you had found, apparently some other girl had posted him in there 3 or 4 years ago. And so he thought I'd found that old post or something. I'm like, no, like this is modern day, buddy. This was like 30 minutes ago this thing's posted. And he's like, oh hell. So he got outed in this thing. This girl he's dating's all jilted and everything, jilted lover, and it's blasting him in this group. And you know me, like, well, all of us are like this. If one of us gets something on the other, like we're gonna roast each other, man. Everybody's gonna know about it. Like no mercy. Like Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence, no mercy. So, of course, I had already texted Pro Neighbor, Pro Mines. I had already made the rounds on it, you know. But that girl, she ended up taking the post down later on. Unfortunately, I wish she'd left it up for a while. I would have loved to have seen who else chimed in on old Pro Moderator. But it got me thinking, though, about these groups. I'm like, how are those groups, like, how is that okay? Like, you know, in this situation, the girl and Pro Moderator, like they had their issues. Obviously shouldn't have been public for everybody to see, although it was, I admit, very entertaining. But like, you know, their situation was real, but you could be on that group and post about anybody. Like, you could make up, and here's the thing, what this girl had done. Like, it was obvious that it was his now ex-girlfriend who had done it. Like, it was the thing she wrote on her essay on the post, like, and she wrote an essay, folks, let me tell you. But the thing she wrote on there, like, it was obvious it was her, but she had posted it anonymously. So it's like a YouTube comment box. Like, you don't even have to put your name on it. You can say whatever and just totally, you know, slander somebody and don't even have to put your name on it. I'm like, how do groups like that, how are they allowed to exist, you know? Like, it seems a little bit, and I guess it's no different in that situation than anything else on social media where people can just say whatever, whether it's true or not. But like, in that situation where it's like more intimate stuff, you know, like, it's just a little different. But I guess those groups are perfectly legal because they exist. At least the one in Knoxville does. It's called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And Pro Moderator's picture's gone now, but by God, it was up there for a few hours. Jilted lover. He said she'll never have access to him again. He's got her blocked on every platform now. I'm like, man, you dated that girl a while. How did you not realize she was that damn crazy? She was going to go do something like that. But yeah, my girlfriend's apparently in that group just waiting on my picture to pop up. But you know, something like that, like again, somebody could go make an anonymous, and I hope I ain't giving my haters ideas here, but like you could go do that. Make an anonymous post and just make up lies and stuff, you know, and there's no recourse for it. There's nothing you can do because again, it's anonymous. You don't even know who it is. Could be anybody. So I don't know how that kind of thing. They ought to at least here's what they ought to at least do. Take away the anonymous part. And I wish YouTube would do that too. Quit letting people hide behind screen names. If you're gonna say something, put your name on it. You know, let it be known that you're the one saying it. But yeah, old pro moderator, y'all. I had a good laugh over it. He's a good sport about it. I don't know if he found it as amusing as I did though. But he's on to greener pastures now, ladies. So if y'all need you a man who's pretty financially well off, hit up Pro Moderator. That was the thing about it too. Like this girl, and again, she wrote out. She did an editorial article about Pro Moderator, but half the stuff she was saying, I told Pro Moderator this. I'm like, gosh, I mean, like, if a girl is in this group, I don't know that she's going to be dissuaded if you end up going out with her, Eric, because I'm like, because, you know, part of what she started off with like, you know, we'd been dating for however many months, and he's took me on all these trips and all these nice dinners and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, she's basically describing you as this generous sugar daddy. I'm like, this is advertising for you. This isn't a negative. Like this is marketing for you, Eric. So, oh, fish. On the dead worm. Here we go. Oh, is this another channel cat? I think this one is a channel cat. He feels like one right from the start. I hope it ain't, but I think it is. I feel him almost like he's rolling. I think it's going to be bigger than the last channel cat, but yeah, it is. The old dead worm got us another one. Actually, I think that's a blue. That's a small blue right there. Yeah. Come on, kitty. I'm gonna bring you in. Just like that. We ain't even got to use a net on you. You're a blue cat, but still, I wish you'd have left it alone. I'm trying to catch a buffalo on that worm now. I don't know where the buffalo's at. We saw, well, we obviously got that one, and we saw, what, at least one, maybe two more I saw that actually came up to the surface there where I got to look at them. And just not got any more to eat. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with this fish though. He's got that hook somewhere where I don't, there it is. Don't you quit that. You getting all wrapped up in that line there, fish. That's uncalled for. You making this harder than it has to be. I'm gonna have to end up lipping this thing to get this hook out. Boy, he's clamped down too. Even these little ones have got incredibly strong jaws. Well, that hook is behind the jawbone right there. There we go. Did we get it? No, we didn't. I hope we ain't gonna bend the hook on this thing trying to get it out. It got him right behind the jaw. And he won't open his mouth for nothing. There we go. Oh, crap. We're going to bend this hook. Dadgummit. I've just ruined this hook. You fish. I cannot get that dang thing out for love or money. We've ruined that hook. It's completely around the damn jawbone. Fish you would have never come free in a million years. There it come. Let's get our line. You've done wrapped yourself in this. Here, get out just like that. Work yourself free. Work yourself free. Did you hook yourself again somehow? There's no way. Oh my gosh, we can't get rid of this fish, y'all. He's lassoed himself with the dang line. There. Get out of here. Listen, we ain't catfishing today. Tell your friends, find another worm to eat. Lord, y'all, we're gonna have to replace this rig. I got more tied up in here, ready to go, but I have absolutely ruined this hook. Look at this thing. I've made it a circle hook. Goodness gracious. Here, let's get the scissors on this. Okay. I'll keep these things. I got them pre-tied. That way I can just grab one when we break off and not have to worry about tying a bunch of knots. That one's got the green corn. I want to get another one with yellow corn. We don't have to worry about tying a bunch of knots and using a hair rig tool and, you know, going through all that hassle really while we're out here on the water. I can just very quickly bust out a new rig that's already, everything's tied up on it, and then we just got to tie one knot to that swivel after that. So I'll tell you, in case you're new here, I'll kind of show you with this how I tie these things up in advance. So we got a swivel on top. I've got a piece of 50-pound braided line that goes through the Amazon feeder there, down to another swivel. And I do this because, again, there's nothing to stop these Amazon feeders. They just got that tube there that your line goes through. So if you put that on your main line down to your hook or something, you cast it out, well, hell, your hook may end up being 2 or 3 feet away from your feeder when everything settles, right? So doing it between these two swivels, it keeps everything very close, keeps your hook close to your pack bait and your feeder there. So anyway, swivel, 50-pound braid, swivel, and then we've got our hair rig with, and I buy these pre-tied hair rigs, number 6 size ESP hooks, and I've already got the couple pieces of fake corn there on the hair rig. So the time-consuming part of this rig, I've already done it. You know, I've done it at the house before we get out here. That way, when a situation like this happens and we've got to retie, all we got to do, just tie this one knot and we're good to go. If I had to tie up this whole rig while we were out here, or it'd be fast forwarding, clicking off, you ain't gonna want to watch me do all that. But this is easy peasy, quick and easy. We're just right back in the game. And I'll tie up a bunch of these in the winter when it's cold and rainy. I ain't doing nothing else anyway. Tie them up then, and that way you get this time of year, summer months, and you don't have to fool with it. You've already got a bunch of them tie it up. And here's how cheap I am. I'm gonna take this sandwich baggie that I had that one in there. I'm gonna stick it back in this bag. That way, when I go to tie it more, I don't have to get more sandwich bags. I don't want to pay that extra 11 cents or whatever the heck they cost. There's something was splashing behind me back there. What do I do with that other rig? There it is. I'll stick it down there in the hatch. We don't lose it. That's all I'll have to replace on it is just the hook. All right, let's do it again. We'd already have it out there if I wasn't flapping my gums talking about it. I like doing stuff like that though. I like, oh, I'll be doggone. The left rod here was finally, oh, something hit it. Something hit it. We finally got that left rod hit right there. About time. But I like doing stuff like that. Anything that can save me time on the water by having things pre-tied, having them done at home. Like it just makes me more efficient out here on the water. I would rather do the extra stuff at the house versus doing it out on the water. Especially, you know, in my situation here, filming, obviously, I need to be as efficient as possible for filming purposes, but just in general, you know, I think it's just good practice to spend as little time on the water doing that kind of stuff. That way it allows you to keep your baits in the water for a longer period of time. A bigger percentage of your on the water time with lines in. Oh, nasty old worm. It's literally stuck to my fingernail. We got our money's worth out of these worms though. Dead or alive, we have made them count today. Didn't have to. Them others, I shouldn't have thrown out, I guess. They were more decomposed. This was clearly the last ones to die out of the other tubs that I had, but still. All right. Throw that over there. We're going to reset our power poles in a second because I can feel one of them has come loose. Again, my love-hate with these power poles. They are a necessary evil out here for anchoring with carp. With these carp, I don't want my lines going all over the place. Like catfish, it doesn't really matter. They're going to hit a moving bait. But with carp, I want them baits to be still down there. Like I don't want my lines going back and forth. So if you're trying to anchor a normal anchor system on a kayak, even if you use 2 anchors, there's going to be some sway back and forth, especially as the wind moves or you move in the kayak, whatever. Even if it's just like this, side to side, as you step and move and lean in the kayak, like there's going to be moving, your line's going to be moving. I don't want that. And so the only way to avoid that really is either, one, pull your kayak up on the shore, which would be nice. I would much rather do that than use the power poles. But you oftentimes just can't. Like out here today, like where would we go? That side of the creek is overgrown, trees hanging everywhere. This side, sure, we could pull our kayak up there in the grass, but do you want to be walking around in that? I sure as hell don't. Aside from the fact there's probably snakes in there, we'd probably be covered in ticks when we come out too. So really the only option in a place like this is to use the power poles. And so I've got one on each side of the kayak, and that kind of gives me well, y'all got water on the lens. How long's that been on there? There we go. But that kind of gives me a stable platform here. Oh, and there was a carp right there. He just jumped up. It gives me stable platform here so I can keep my kayak still. We're not doing all this swaying. I'm not doing the side to side movement, and it keeps our lines just laying there. You know, it keeps everything straight. Now, the downside of this power pole setup is if you're out in the main channel, and I learned this lesson the hard way, if you're out there in some place where you're going to be experiencing boat wake, boy, it sucks. It sucks bad, because when you're out there, you get hit with boat wake. If one of them poles gives and the other doesn't, you end up setting sideways in the kayak. And boy, I about went overboard one day because one of them poles give and the other held true. And so, not the best thing in that type of situation. But back here, like in these backwaters, where we're not going to have any other boats come by, at least hopefully not anyway. You know, no boats, no wake. We're not getting hit with any waves, even on a windy day. Like, we're not going to. Back here, like, you're so shielded, so protected in a place like this, it wouldn't matter how hard the wind was blowing, like, we'd be fine. In this kind of situation, these poles are perfect. They're ideal. Like, they're gonna be great, you know, and especially on a mud bottom. Now, if you were on all rocks where they couldn't really penetrate down and get hold of anything, well, then it's not gonna do much good. But in a muddy creek like this, I mean, they're a pain. I've had 2 warranty claims on, I haven't had any, knock on wood, I ain't had any problems in like over a year, but I had 2 warranty claims since I've had them. And I think I got them in, 2022, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 2022. So this is my 2nd year using the power poles. And both my warranty claims come pretty early on. So I'm still a little hesitant to speak too highly of them because of my warranty claims, but you know, definitely in the last year I've not had any issues. So they're expensive. They're one more thing to hook on your kayak, one more thing. There was a big splash down there too. They're one more thing to accessory to add and that you need a battery for type thing, but for the purpose they serve out here today, for instance, they're totally worth it to me. Because otherwise, I mean, like, I'm not, with this grass as high as that is, like, I ain't getting up there in that. I just ain't gonna do it, and especially I don't want to be covered in ticks. The ticks are bad this year here in Tennessee, buddy. They have been. We had a really cold winter. Like, we had that polar vortex come through back in, I think it was January. I got stuck at home for a week. Like, it was frigid cold, like single digit temperatures. It didn't do anything to kill the ticks. I guess ticks aren't susceptible to cold like that, because I mean, ticks have been bad this year. Daphne the dog gets a flea, tick, and heartworm medication, so ticks that bite her end up dying, but she has brought several of them in the house. Like, they get on her and then they end up on me because she brings them in. Hell, I found one in the bed one day. It was just crawling on the sheet. I assume it was on her. But I guarantee you, we go tromping through them weeds right there, we gonna have ticks all over us. I can't get y'all to reel in a fish, but I bet you I'd get you to pull some ticks off of you if you got them all over you. You'd be doing that for sure. You don't want to end up getting no Lyme disease or nothing. Mess some people up. But I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about them ticks being so bad this year. I don't know. I'd always heard you have a real cold winter, it kills stuff like that, but clearly it don't. And we ain't gonna have a colder winter than what we had this past year. I don't miss that cold temperature either. Days like today where, you know, even right now, like it's hot. You know, them clouds that rolled in, they seem to be moving on. That sun's gonna pop out here in a little while again, but like it's miserable hot this time of year in the summer, but I'd much rather deal with the heat than the cold. You can't hide from the cold. In these hot summer months, I can hide from it. I can come out and fish first thing in the morning when it's still tolerable, and I can fish till mid to late morning and call it a day and have me a good time. In the winter months, you know, normally I fish the afternoons in the winter. I'll wait till it gets as warm as it's gonna get, and then you still go out there and freeze your hind end off, and then, you know, you lose feeling in your hands and your feet because you're so cold. And there's times it gets so cold, fishing just ain't fun. And when I go fishing, I want to have fun. And you know me, I'm a flip-flop kind of guy. I wear flip-flops everywhere. I like it when it's warm enough that I can not have to wear socks and boots. You talk about making a cold day colder. When you launch in your kayak in the winter, and you usually, most of the time in the winter, I gotta like I always get in the water a little bit to launch the kayak, push it off the trailer. But in the wintertime, our water level drops for winter drawdown. And so oftentimes the launches can be, depending on where you're at here, like they can be a little bit more difficult to manage. What's going on? Something come up right there. I heard it. I didn't see it. But anyway, them launches can be a little bit more difficult to manage. And it never fails, 2 or 3 times a winter, 2 or 3 times a year, I'm gonna step out into water that's a little deeper than my boot, and I'm gonna get all that water down in there. And you talk about making a cold day colder, get your foot soaking wet out there when it's 30 something degrees, 40 degrees, like you're gonna be cold by the time you get back to the car when you're done fishing that day. So I'd rather deal with the heat. I'll come out and fish the morning hours. Fish are active. It seems they're definitely more active in the shallows in the summer months. I can do any kind of fishing I want in the summer. I can catfish, I can ultralight fish, carp fish, whatever. Wintertime, I mean, I can still do all those things, but it's hit or miss whether or not I'm gonna get bit. Something was working that right rod right there. Something hit it. Oh, there was a splash down there right in front of the left rod. That was a carp. I saw the orange. I'm gonna get me a swig of water. I got a feeling with all this activity, we saw it splash behind us, now that one in front of us, something hit that line. It ain't gonna be long. We're gonna catch another one here in a second. But this kind of action, like you have good days in the winter, but I also have a lot more skunk trips in the winter too. Like it's pretty rare for me to get skunked in the summer. I may not catch a lot of fish, I may not catch big fish, but I'm usually going to catch something. But in the wintertime, I do have some skunk trips. And it's just that combined with the fact I just don't like being cold. Like I'd much rather deal with summer temperatures. I'd like to be one of them snowbird people where you just fish here all summer and then go down to South Florida for the winter. You know, leave here about Thanksgiving and come back mid-April. That'd be ideal. One of these days, that just might happen. You never can tell. Hell, as expensive as things have gotten here, there was another splash right down there in front of that line. I think, oh, there he was again. I wonder if they're coming up and eating some of them crumbs that have maybe landed on the surface. Of course, those should have went downstream by now. That fish, look right there. We just saw him. We just saw him and now our line's going down. I wonder if that'll be that same carp. We just saw the daggone thing and down goes our line. I knew it was going to happen quickly. When we were seeing fish down there right in front of our lines, like they were obviously working their way up. And there may have been some crumbs there on top of the water where our pack bait hit. I would have thought maybe they'd been further downstream, but who knows? Either way, this one found it, and we're hooked up, buddy. He don't feel too bad either. Oh man, has he got me in something? Or is he just a solid fish? I can't tell. I'm so paranoid now. I'm so daggone paranoid after us getting hung up near the tree or whatever. Now there he is on the surface. He's just a good fish. Another common. I like these fish, man. He's actually not gonna be, oh, I just pulled it out. We got the quick release on that. I jerked it right out of his mouth. That fish really got gypped, man. He did not get his moment of fame. He'll be in one of them Facebook groups. There's probably, these carp, they probably got a Facebook group called "Did the Same Fisherman Catch Us?" or something. And he'll be down there posting my picture, wanting to know if other carp had been caught by me. Well, we got fish working through here. You know what we need to do that we ain't done in a while? We need to get our back rod and rebait. It's probably time. We probably need to refresh everything. With it being behind us and the power poles locking us in place here, if something's nipped at it, we may not have necessarily known it. You know, we wouldn't necessarily feel it. So it's been a while. It was getting bit pretty consistently there for the beginning, and now it's been forever. So I think we get this one back out, we'll reel it in, at least check it. Put some more pack bait on. Nasty old worm about to go out and catch us another. There was another splash down there too. Oh, carp and the worms. I wonder if a carp would eat worms year round, or if it's just a summertime thing. All right. Set that one back. Let's just go ahead and get this one. Oh hell, we got a bunch of stuff on our line too. Okay, there it went. There's some sticks and stuff. Now our tomato's still on there. Let's just reload some pack bait. I want to get that tomato to eat. I done ruined them tomatoes by picking them still green. I ain't gonna be able to eat them. Hell, I can't eat all the tomatoes I'm getting anyway. Even as small a garden as I have. And here I did. I'm getting more cucumbers than I know what to do with. I planted some more. I showed this to my channel members here recently. My channel members, I do like, well, about once a week, once every other week, I'll do just a behind the scenes video, you know, let them know what's going on, real life stuff, and show around my house and whatnot. And I've been showing them my garden tour as we got our line wrapped around the rod tip. Dadgummit. But I've been showing the channel members them garden updates. And it's been amazing how many cucumbers I've got out of such a small space. And so anyway, I ripped out, I've got this trellis that I'm growing the cucumbers on, and I had cucumbers on one side and I had peas on the other. Well, the peas, they're done. So I had ripped all them out and I planted more cucumbers on the other side because Lord knows I need more. But now they're coming up. And so it's amazing how much production I've got out of such a small space. But my soil's really good because when I built this bed, I had a big load of compost brought in. So I had a layer of wood, old wood, then I did some topsoil, a layer of old leaves, and then I mixed in quite a bit of compost there to fill it up, and mixed in some more topsoil with it there. So like it's really rich soil for those plants. And as that wood and them leaves that I put in, as they decompose, like that'll help compost things too, and make more soil. And this fall, I'll put another layer of leaves on there and mix that in too, just to keep it going. I had some extra compost left over from that load, and so I've got it in an area behind my shed, and I've been just vegetable scraps and stuff like that, been throwing that in there, and I'll add it to the garden as well next spring before I plant the next batch there next spring. But I really like it. Like I'd had that garden area tilled up on the side of my house forever. I used to put out a lot bigger garden. And it was kind of a hobby for me. I always got more vegetables than I knew what to do with. But then my neighbors moved in, and I hate them people, so it kind of ruined. I didn't like going to that side of the house because I had to see them. But I had that privacy fence put up a couple years back, and so this past year, this past spring, I'm like, I'm gonna make me a raised bed garden, because I had some extra blocks there at the house I need to do something with. And I'd had a load of topsoil brought in last fall to fill in some holes in the yard, and I got way too much. I had no idea. The delivery fee, when you have soil brought in, the delivery fee is the same whether you get a little bit or a lot. So I ended up getting a lot, and it was a lot more than what I thought a lot was going to be. So I had all that extra dirt. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and make me a raised bed garden. I'm glad I did, because it has been, the production I've got, the plants are producing more, I guess because my soil's better. And it's so easy to maintain. I'm not having, when I go out there to get the weeds, and I don't have very many weeds, but when something does pop up, like I just pluck it. And I'm able to stay on top of it because it's not a very big area. Am I in this we got this log that somehow found that log went over my line. I can't tell if my line is in it or not. I don't know if it is or not. I'm going to leave it be for now. This creek ain't very wide, so anything that drifts down is at risk of catching our line. I'll leave it be for the time being. Oh, I think it's got our line. I think. Yeah, hell far. We're gonna have to recast. Put on some more pack bait and recast. But yeah, the garden has been, it's super easy to maintain. I'm not getting, and I planted a bunch of marigolds around the tomatoes because they're supposed to help with bugs. And so I don't know if that's part of it, or just the fact that it's raised up off the ground. And the plants they're higher up, but I'm not having, at least knock on wood, not yet anyway, I'm not having any issues with bugs at all. It's really been It's really been great. You know, I mean, I'm still able to go out there and piddle with it, you know, just for a hobby, but it doesn't take me very much time. When I had the other, like, you know, a normal garden, just had everything tilled up and everything, like, it was pretty, you know, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. There's something, I always thought it to be like almost cathartic, really, to get out there and do the manual labor, just hoeing the weeds and everything to keep everything, the area between the rows clear and around the plants and stuff. Like, it was work, but I enjoyed it. But boy, it was time consuming. Like, it was, you know, to stay on top of the weeds, like, it was, you had to put a lot of time into it to keep everything looking good. But this raised bed, like, I don't really put hardly any time into it. I spend, the most time I've spent lately is just when we're having these 90+ degree days and we're not having any rain. Like, I'll get out there and water, and that takes 5 minutes. But even watering is a lot quicker because I'm not having to water such a huge area. Look right here, we just cast it out. We just cast it out and we're already hooked up. I mean, y'all saw me just cast that dang thing back out. I'll be doggone. Unbelievable, man. We just, I mean, that thing hadn't been out there a minute. At least I don't think. Somebody may make a liar out of me. Y'all are watching that clock tick by as this video plays, but I don't think it had been out there maybe a minute. Oh, that's a catfish, and that ain't a bad one either right there now. Look at this right here. Folks, looky here on the dead worm. This is way bigger than them other 2 catfish we've got. That's a daggone fun sizer, man. That's a dang fun sizer on the worm and the pack bait. Wow. We'll see if he's all marked up and stuff from the spawn. There could be some up in here, like up under these undercut banks in the shallows. That'd be perfect spawning type places for these cats, so. We didn't come out here trying to catch cats today, but when you get one like this, I'm not gonna turn it down. Let me get our net here. We're gonna net this one. I don't wanna try with this small hook. I don't wanna try lipping this thing. Oh, hell, I'll give this some front camera time. Dead worm. Dead worm and pack bait. You come over here. You're an ugly old thing. I can't tell if you marked up or if he's just discolored. Can't see hardly in this muddy water. Lord knows he don't want to calm down enough to come over here and get in the net. Oh Lord, I missed him. Get in there. There he is. There it is. Folks, this right here, I believe, is the biggest catfish I've ever caught on one of my carp rigs. But he is definitely discolored. And I'm going to just assume that he's been back here spawning and probably been, they are cavity spawners, which means they look for crevices and stuff, undercut banks. They'll dig out areas under like logs and trees and stumps and things to lay their eggs and protect their nests and stuff. And I bet you he's been up in this creek along one of these banks here. I bet you that's what he's been doing. Let's send that out. I'm gonna put y'all up here. Y'all, man, this is, you know, a normal catfishing trip. This would be what I consider a fun sizer. But I'm telling you, man, the fact we got this on a carp rig is pretty awesome. Yeah, skinny, long skinny fish. This one's definitely been guarding a nest. All discolored too. I don't know if that's, who knows. Not really beat up, but just odd color it seems like. But yeah, long skinny fish. We've definitely, what is that? That's buffalo, carp, channel cat, blue cat. We've got 4 species now. What do you think, blue cat? You ready to go home? Go back to your nest, wherever you is going? That's awesome. Oh, oh. There it goes. I think our pole give. Yeah, our pole give good then. Yeah, what are the odds of that, y'all? I know somebody's gonna be in the comment box right now, Justin, you should have brought a catfish rod. Just threw out a piece of cut bait or something. I've done that on some carp trips in the past, but honestly, it always becomes kind of a nuisance because just the turtles, I find it incredibly difficult and frustrating to fish shallow water this time of year. Unless you're doing something like, unless you're doing an active presentation, like if we were, let's say we were trolling, we were dragging the shallows or something, that's one thing. Because the turtle's usually not gonna, they're not gonna come after a moving piece of cut bait necessarily. You will occasionally, but you know, most of the time, it's when you're anchor fishing or bank fishing and your bait's just sitting there on bottom. That's when the turtles are gonna torment you. But if we had some cut bait today, Lord, we might as well, we might hook a big one in here. Even still though, like, pretty awesome to catch a fish like that size cat on that size hook, number 6 size hook, and in this creek that's ain't bigger than nothing, you know? Like, this is an incredibly small creek. It's just, again, it's got very quick access. When you've got a shallow water feeding area in close proximity to the main channel, when they've got quick access to deep water, you've got a situation where you can catch not only catfish, but I mean a lot of fish species, you know, because all these fish are going to utilize deep water sanctuary, the home. They move up to feed, they go back down oftentimes. Most fish aren't gonna, these carp are kind of unique. You see them in shallow water a lot, but like most of the time, boy, we got this log floating by. If I cast this one over there where we've been, that log's gonna catch it. Let's wait a second here. We'll wait a second till that log gets on down, that way we don't have to reel in. I don't have good enough casting skills to make sure that we get it in an area that we ain't gonna get on this line and that ain't gonna hit it. But you know, carp seem to stick around in the shallows. They seem to spend a lot more time in the shallows. Catfish don't usually. Like, they'll come up, they'll eat, then they go back out. Now, in the spring, when they're getting ready to nest, obviously right now when they are nesting, they're gonna be in the shallows more frequently. In the fall, oftentimes too, when they're feeding up right before winter, you'll catch them in the shallows there more frequently. But again, they're not living there, they're not staying there. They come in, they eat, they go back out. But that right there, I'm pretty sure is the biggest cat that I've ever gotten on a carp rig. Now granted, he ate a worm. Like, it ain't like he's eating a piece of corn or a piece of fake corn or a cherry tomato. Although, I have caught catfish on cherry tomatoes in years past. So that has happened. But in this situation, it was, you know, he ate the worm, which is, a lot of catfish are caught on worms. That's not news at 11. A pretty good sized fish, all things considered. You do this long enough, and again, anytime you got a bait in the water, you got a chance. I've said that a million times. You carp fish long enough, you're gonna just luck into a big catfish. It's inevitable. And I don't care if you're using corn or tomatoes or lima beans or whatever bait you want for carp, you're probably gonna catch a big catfish on it at some point. Just statistically speaking, just the fact that you've got a bait in the water and you do that, you're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time at some point. That limb down there, it's almost past now. We got one more smaller one going by right there, and then I'm going to cast. I don't see anything. There was something jumped up right there. I didn't get a good look at it. I don't see anything more, any more debris coming, so. Hopefully the flow keeps going this way. We don't have any more. That was odd earlier when the current was flowing backwards. The only thing I can figure is they must have let a big boat or a barge or something lock through the dam. And so they would have released water, which would have caused it to raise, and therefore water would have came back in this creek. But when I was going to Ohio, we apparently got some pretty heavy rain for the water to be this muddy, and it is still a little higher, but I can see where it was. I mean, you can see the bottom of them trees right there, the mud line. Like it had been higher. All right, let's cast this thing. There we go. All right. How long do you think it'll take for us to get bit this time? I almost wonder, when that last one with him eating so quickly, I wonder if he heard it hit. Like if he heard the bait hit the water and was drawn to it or something. The splash, you know? We'll never know. But I mean, he hit it quickly. When you get bit that fast, it's like you either landed it right in their face, just lucky, or they heard it hit and come over to investigate, and boom, there's your bait. Ultimately, it don't matter, you know, like I'm gonna catch what keeps jumping here behind us. I'm gonna turn this way a second because something has come up here 2 or 3 times. And I wanna see what it is. I got the camera pointing this way, and of course now we'll never see it again. It's like they know the camera's watching. It's not like us humans where cameras are pointed at us from outer space up them satellites 24 hours a day, like we're used to it. These fish know if a camera's pointed at them, don't turn. Don't come to the surface, you know. Just stay still. Oh, there he, oh, I wasn't looking. I was looking over here to the left, and he come up. Maybe y'all got to look at him. I had glanced over to the left, and that's when he come up. Dadgummit, I missed it. Y'all might have seen it if y'all was paying attention. Oh, I saw him then. That was a carp right there, that one that come up. Eating stuff off the surface. That wouldn't be us. Like even our bait back there, like the current, any crumbs that had come off would have been this way by now. So they're eating something else off the surface. Could be anything, you know, falling down. I've not seen, I mean, mostly been debris and stuff I've seen in the water today. But I mean, there could possibly be some kind of just wild berries or something floating by, you never know. Or there could be something in these leaves too that they like, I don't know. They eat such a variety of stuff, like it could be anything. We know they like some nasty worms and some nowhere near ripe cherry tomatoes though. Worm is definitely outproduced though, and is that a situation where fish are coming in? Like all our scent's going downstream. So it makes sense that these front two rods will be getting hit, but the left one ain't, with the cherry tomato, ain't getting any action. Now we've got some on the cherry tomato on the back one, but those fish would either be like here, you would think they would either be here finding their way to that, or they're coming from the other direction and come across that bait. But you would think any fish that are working up would get one of these two long before they got the one in the back. This thing, there's two of them. There was two splashes right there. I'm gonna keep turning this way a second. One of these front rods will go down, but I'm gonna keep turning this way. I just want to see I want to try to see what they're eating. If they come up again. Like I'm not seeing any bugs or anything on top of the water. Like mayflies or, we allegedly had them, not locust. I'm drawing a blank. Cicadas. Lord almighty, I couldn't think for a second. We had them a while back. It was allegedly the 13-year brood or something, but we never had them in my area here. I never saw them. Down south, when I'd fished Chickamauga and Nickajack, I saw a bunch down there. But in my area, I just didn't see the cicadas here. I was hoping we'd get on a good bite. I was hoping to go out and catch some carp on topwater, like using bass plugs with the cicada bite, but it never happened here. I guess I was just too far north to be part of that. Oh, worm, a worm. We had our back turned. And this fish seized an opportunity. He's gonna run us over in something if we ain't careful. Y'all get hold of your fish now. Okay, he's coming to the left. I'm pretty sure this is a carp here. We're finally hooked up with the target species again. Now that we've sorted through the catfish. I wonder when carp fishermen, I've questioned this before, like when carp fishermen catch buffalo, are they considered a nuisance species? And the few carp fishermen who have responded have said yes, like they don't like catching the buffalo. I wonder in a situation where you're carp fishing, like if you're catching catfish, are they considered a nuisance? Like when I went down there to Texas and I fished with that buffalo guide there a couple years ago, we caught 1 million channel cats. And I say 1 million like it's, exaggerating, but we're probably closer to 1 million than 0. It was just a ton of channel cats. Like they were a true nuisance down there. This fish swam over my line, but I don't think he got in it. I wonder, for carp fishermen, like if they catch catfish, blues, channels, whatever, like is it considered a nuisance to them, or is it just a fun bycatch? Like what would they consider it, I don't know any carp fishermen. Like personally, no. I mean, I know some of you's there through YouTube, comment box. But like real life, that's a nice carp. That's a pretty good one. Real life in person, I don't know anybody. Well, I'll take that back. Well, I don't know anybody personally locally, I should say. Now, Josh there with catfish and carp baits, tips, tricks, techniques, 1 million words to his channel name, which I don't think he does YouTube anymore. This fish is all up in my motor, man. This fish is all up in my motor. You gotta go back the way you came, carp. There we go. I don't think he does YouTube anymore, but I'd met him. He went down there on that Texas trip with me. And I've interacted with him numerous times, social media and stuff. This is a good one. But I don't know any local carp fishermen. This one right here is gonna be comparable to the biggest one of the day. This is another quality fish right here, buddy. Yes, sir. I'll give you front camera time, Carp. Would that please you? He said he don't care. This fish he's never been one for fame. He ain't on no Instagram, he said. He had a MySpace one time and he had his fill of it. Tom was his only friend. He said he wasn't getting back on social media. No, oh, no. Easy now. Yeah, that's comparable to the biggest one of the day, probably. He's a longer fish. Did I bust your lip over there? Was that blood coming out? I busted his lip. He's real mad at me now. Lengthwise, definitely one of the longest, though. Weight-wise, comparable, probably. Fun nonetheless. Get out of here. You're going to bleed all over the place. Do it out there. Put some scent in the water for them catfish, by gosh. Worm, getting it done again. You know what I kind of want to do? I do and I don't. I kind of want to, we've got a good thing going right now. We're catching fish. We're getting them on the worm on this rod. I kind of want to switch these two rods. That'd be stupid, wouldn't it? But if we put the tomato where we're catching the fish on the worm, we would know, is it the worm or the tomato that's getting? We would know. But it ultimately don't matter, right? We just want to catch fish. This is a stupid idea. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I'm not going to fish too terribly much longer because it's hot as blazes and that sun's getting higher and higher. We're going to lose our shade before long, so let's just stick with what's working. You know, the old saying, don't leave fish to go find fish. There ought to be another saying, don't change baits to catch fish when you catching them on what you getting them on, or something comparable to that. You know what I'm trying to say. We need something catchy along them lines. But we got a good thing going, why change it? Unless we run out of dead worms. When we run out of dead worms, I'm probably going to the house anyway, because it is getting hot. It's that time of day. Getting that time of day where even catching fish ain't gonna keep me on the water. Looks like we're getting low on dead worms anyway. We've made them count though. I didn't know what to expect with the dead worms. Y'all could have easily talked me out of using them at all today. We could have just went tomatoes on all three rods, but I thought, what the heck, we'll try it. And it has most definitely been worthwhile. This creek has been most definitely been worthwhile. Like, it's been, the size of this creek for the number of fish caught, like it's been good to us. But this section of the river, obviously I don't have the graph on to show you on the map, and honestly, hell, I wouldn't want to show the map up here anyway, because, you know, I like having this place to myself, and I don't want a bunch of people being up in here. And places like this, it's hard, there's no, I mean, it's just woods and a creek. Like, it's hard to get landmarks for people to figure out where you're at. Unlike catfishing, when you're out on the main channel, if you see a big building in the background or something, or, you know, I'm showing you my map card, people can put 2 + 2 together and get your GPS location. So, you know, it's nice kind of having these secluded creeks to myself. I don't want to ruin that for me, but this section of the river, there's not really many creeks for these fish to go into. There's one maybe a quarter mile or so downstream on the other side of the channel. But that's the next nearest one. Like upriver from here, there's really not much of nothing. Like it's just river channel. So, you know, any fish that are wanting to move up in a shallow backwater creek, like their options are pretty limited. So that could be one of the reasons why there's so, just the volume of fish in here. But regardless, man, it's been awesome today. And look where that sun is. You know, it's up in the sky, but we're still sitting here in the shade right now. I'd done be gone. If like we were sitting in the sun, I'd done be gone because it's that hot. But it's still tolerable in the shade. Hot, but it's tolerable. I'll be dripping sweat in the sauna out here by the time I get back to the car because I got a long run to get back, but you know, worth it. Totally worth it. I just enjoy it, man. That's the only thing I can tell you about it. Like, I like catching these fish. I mean, these are large fish. They may not be large for carp standards. They're certainly not as big as some of the catfish I catch, but I mean, for the tackle I use, catching fish that are 7, 8, 10 pound range, some of these carp may have been bigger, I don't know. I don't weigh them, obviously. Looky here, the cherry tomato was getting hit. Something hit it. We finally got that left rod hit. Something hit the dang thing, didn't hook up. But to me, like, you know, they're big fish and they're fun, and I just enjoy being in places like this. You know, there's a lot of times where I'm catfishing, like I'm having a good time catching catfish. I think this fish might have this cherry tomato rod. My line jumped again. I'm gonna jerk his jaw right here. He's swimming with it. He's swimming with it. He's had it the whole time. I thought he had dropped it and he still had it. I'm gonna tighten up this line. Oh. He's went over or under, I don't know. We may get us a tangle here, possibly. Okay, he's under that line. Okay. No? I don't know what's going on here, folks. We've got a tangle is what's going to happen. It was bound to happen eventually. We've been fortunate to play this long with this many lines in such a tight area and it not happen. We were due. He must have done a lap around that line, best I can figure. If I get him up here closer, I'll try to maybe work that other rod around it. Old cherry tomato, old green tomato. I'll tell you a good dish for you people up. Oh, this one's going, okay, okay. Maybe it wasn't tangled up. It was in that line, but it's come out. Okay. All right, did this one hook up? He took the line. This one's got it, folks. Let's set him back. This one's swimming too. We're doubled again. God forbid one of y'all grab a line. Oh, he just come off. That one come off. That's okay. We got one out of the two. If y'all had grabbed that rod sooner, we'd have got him. Y'all botched it again. I don't know why, I don't know how it is y'all come fishing with me and I can't ever get you to grab a dang rod when we got two of them going down. Come in here, Carp. Tell these people how you like them tomatoes. I was trying to tell you though, there's a dish here in the South that we eat. Some of you Yankees that watch probably ain't never had it as this fish goes crazy. He's done knocked my motor cord off up there. But a lot of you people up north may not have had it. The people overseas that watch my videos, he just unhooked himself too. How about that? Good job, Carp. Good job, everybody. You got the quick release on yourself. Let's give you some chest cam time and get you out of here before you act a fool even more. Now that he's gone, maybe I can tell you what I was trying to tell you, here in the South, we eat a dish called fried green tomatoes. And you take, obviously, tomatoes that are much larger than the cherry tomatoes I'm using today, but you cut them up when they're still green and you fry them. And you get you some fried green tomatoes and some ranch dressing, and buddy, you in for a good meal. A lot of restaurants will serve it as like an appetizer. I'll eat it as a meal. Or get you some fried green tomatoes and put it on a sandwich with some bacon. I'm gonna get myself hungry here. I ain't ate yet, y'all. I'm gonna talk about food. My stomach's gonna be growling. But y'all try that out if you up north. I ain't never heard of such nonsense. I know it probably sounds crazy being a foreigner or whatever and thinking, why the hell would you want to fry up unripened tomatoes? But I'm telling you, it's good. Give it a chance. I think you'll like it. But it's one of them summertime treats. I'll usually get me some fried green tomatoes at some point every summer. Usually 2 or 3 times every summer. Okay, here goes the next fried, I said fried green tomato, the next cherry tomato rig. Okay, get that one out. Now let's get we ain't even got to rebait our worm. It's the last fish that popped free, left her worm on. Okay. What a productive day. Like I thought we'd catch fish in this creek. I've caught fish in here before in years past. But the number of fish, the variety of fish, 4 different species, and we got bit quickly too. Like that's the biggest surprise of all. Not necessarily the fish we've got, but just how quickly we got that first bite. Considering the fact I had to run over the top of those fish's heads coming up here. But man, I ain't complaining. I've sure as heck enjoyed it. See if we can't get us some more too. I gotta figure out a situation with a bicycle today. I got a bike at home that don't work. Daphne got a bicycle. The first time this has happened, like we got it put together and it won't turn on. We've charged the battery, everything looks good, the wiring looks good. It won't turn on. That's a first. We've had some that have been better quality than others, but this one here, it's a problem. So we gotta handle that situation today. We'll send some emails and some videos. Daphne the dog's gonna need to do a better job negotiating her deals. We're about to start telling these companies. And this is another thing some of y'all is probably gonna shake your head over, like, I can't believe he's being this greedy. You know, these bicycle companies oftentimes send me and Daphne a bicycle. Sometimes they pay us too, in addition to the bike, but most of the time we get the bike. I'll race Daphne around the yard, tell you their website, whatever, and we keep the bike, which we then turn around. We keep one bike to play with. There's one of them I really liked, and I've kept it, and the others we just sell because we don't need 30 bikes, you know. And so it's a nice little side hustle. But the last few bikes we've gotten, they're shipping them and requiring a signature. Now, UPS, not a big deal, because I can get on the UPS app sign for the delivery, and then they just leave it. But with FedEx, oh, cherry tomatoes getting hit. He's got it. Our tomato got hit. Here we go again, old garden vegetable here getting it done. Good, he's running to the left. This one here, this fish right here has got some talent. He's got some class, folks. Yeah, this fish here, he's got some brains about him. He knew not to go over there because he knew he'd get hung up in them trees if he went that way. It sure has been a while, though, since we got one on that back rod. Is this oh, this is another cat. We got a cat here on the tomato. This is the first cat on the tomato today. I told you, though, in years past, I had caught catfish, blues and channels, on the daggone cherry tomato, and here we do. We done it again. There's catfish working up in this creek, though, ain't they? I wonder if we couldn't set out at a creek mouth and bust them coming in and out. That might be a good catfishing trip for an upcoming video. This one here's a larger dink. He got some mud on him. Got him a tomato. You know what it was? This fish heard me talking about fried green tomatoes, and he said he wanted to try it out. Even though that tomato there wasn't fried, he thought he'd still give it a shot. Just give it a taste. I'll take that hook back, please and thank you. If you'll quit flopping a second, I'll get it out. Sir, quit flopping a second. We're on this fishing schedule. Don't you act like somebody. Have you never been in a kayak before? There. All right. You will not be getting any front camera time, sir. Sir, listen to this fish, buddy. He just will not stop. Get out of here acting that way. Go on now. At least he didn't go over there to the right and get us all stuck in trees and stuff. Anyway, on these bikes, when they ship them FedEx, if they require a signature for delivery, you cannot sign online. Like, you have to be at home to sign for this thing. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking about doing. Because the problem with FedEx, they're not predictable at my house. It just depends on the driver. Like, one day they might be at my house at 9 o'clock in the morning. The next time they come, they might be 6 o'clock in the evening. Like, there's no predicting when they're going to show up. So you're stuck at home waiting to sign for this package. And I'm thinking about, when Daphne negotiates with these companies from now on, bicycle companies, telling them, one, don't require a signature for the delivery. And if they do, charging them a fee. Since I'm going to be stuck at home and unable to go out on the water and... Oh, we got hooked up. Let's set this back in here. Worm rod. Get him out of there. Okay, good. He's coming back this way. Oh, he's going back there now. He's going back. Tell this fish not getting them trees over there, y'all. That's where he's wanting to go. Boy, he's making a run, buddy. This is a strong fish right here. He's still going, buddy. Boy, this heat, this hotter temperature, buddy, it ain't deterring these fish, is it? Unless they're just moving back in here, because here's another thought, it just hit me. Is it possible that more of these fish are moving in here right now because this area is still shaded? Like maybe some of the other parts of this creek are exposed, and maybe right here we're still in the shade. Is that a possibility? Maybe. Another one of them small details that probably don't matter in the grand scheme of things, but something to think about. Let's see what we got here. Carp. You know what I want to do before we land him? I'm gonna get him over here. I'm gonna stick him in a rod holder. We're gonna cast out this other line while we get him landed and get him unhooked. That way we can try to maybe hook up another one while we're getting him undone. Throw out another tomato though. That's a little bit bigger tomato here, but the green tomatoes, they've really worked out as far as hooking them. The more ripe it is, the softer that flesh is. Okay. Goodness. Y'all could have done had this fish netted, had him unhooked, but you just been sitting there twiddling thumbs waiting on me to do it. It's interesting though that all of these fish are coming now still on these front two rods. Like the back rod, even though we rebaited, we're just not getting bit on it now. I have to believe it's fish coming in from the main channel into this creek. It's the only thing I can think of. We've certainly put out enough pack bait at this point that there's, you know, a lot of scent going downstream in this creek. Okay. What do you think, Carp? You want a little front camera time? I'll give it to him. Why not? Why not? Hold yourself up there, Carp. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Oh, man. He got me right in the mouth. Did you see that? Oh, man. It hit me right in the mouth. Oh, that's about the first bad luck we've had today right there. Well, if I get diarrhea later, we know it's because I got a mouthful of lake water. We know the cause of it, by gosh. Whew. Nasty old stuff. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna cast out another one. I hate to leave these fish biting, but I really ain't gonna fish much longer because it is getting hot. We're about to lose our shade. But yeah, y'all, I'm thinking about charging these companies. And it may ruin the deal potentially. Like they may have a policy on some of these companies that requires a signature for all deliveries. I don't know. But it's a real nuisance. And I don't think it's asking too much to either, one, waive that for me, or two, compensate Daphne the dog for the time she's stuck waiting at the house. Somebody out there would be like, well, these companies are doing this for you, Justin, and you're going to try to stick it to them. Undoubtedly somebody would think that, but I don't think it's asking a lot. Okay, let's get us another worm out right quick. I think that's a partial worm, actually. Part of him had probably been torn or rotted and fell apart either way. Both of them back out. I'm not gonna fool with that back line right now. Like, it just is what it is. They're hitting the front rods, so we're getting plenty enough action to keep us entertained. It's just weird that we ain't got one on that back rod in a while. Like, it was pretty active there for the first part of the trip, but now it's been a while. I still feel like I got lake water in my mouth. I mean, it hit me right in the mouth like I bet if there's a slow motion, if I can remember to look at, normally I don't look at these unedited videos. That's one of the beauties of doing unedited videos, is just throw them up on the YouTube, you know? But if I can remember, I'm gonna try to look back when I get the footage on my computer and see if I can get a still shot of that water like hitting me right in the mouth. You think that fish tried to do? I know he tried to do it, but like, it kind of seemed like he's practiced it before. I don't think you get that kind of accuracy on your first try. Got me good though. We're about to lose our shade though, man. The sun's right here. And so it's gonna keep coming toward us here as it gets higher up above that tree. Now, water's too deep on this side. It's not like we could go over here. Plus we got all them trees coming over anyway, but it's too deep for my power poles. You gotta be relatively shallow to work them. I think these poles are 8 foot. I think they're 8-foot poles. But you know, we got a little distance between where the bottom of the power pole anchor system is and the water. Like, there's a distance there you have to compensate for, and it's obviously got to be down in the mud far enough to hold. So you really need to be in water that's 5 foot or less. The shallower the better. This side over here, again, is a few inches deep. This side's a little deeper over here, but the mud's so soft. Like, we've went way down in that mud as my weight has shifted and stuff, and I've had to keep driving it down. Like, it's way down in that mud on this side. Oh, my line popped. My line jumped right here on this worm rod. We might bust another one here, folks. What are we doing on board batteries is getting low. We've gone through the battery pack now. We're on the regular battery, which is already run down from before because my other battery pack was dead. My camera battery pack and battery setup gets me right at about 4 hours, which is perfect for these videos because most of my trips, again, is 4 or 5 hours long usually, unless I'm in a tournament. So I can have my fun, film. If I want to stay an extra 30 minutes to an hour, I can get me a little off-camera time. I don't know if I will today or not when the battery dies, because probably gonna head out of here. It's gonna be, I've got such a long run to get to the car. It's gonna be, 90 plus degrees time I get there. And we ain't gonna have no shade once I get out in the main channel. Like, there ain't no hiding from the sun out there. What a great day though. I've really enjoyed this today. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. I know I ain't been able to get you to do anything, land a fish, reel them in, bait a hook, nothing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me, hearing the stories of Pro Moderator and the tournament stories. Again, big shout out and thanks to the Loys for getting me that Yeti cooler. It'll probably be here sometime next few days, a week. Real nice of them to do that. I think we're about to get bit right here. We are. The worm. Got us another one on the worm, folks. Is this a catfish again? It may be a carp. I thought I felt him rolling at one point. It still feels like he's rolling. Maybe it's head shakes and it's a carp, I don't know. I see the wake of him down there. He's coming across the surface right there. He's gonna go right over my other line. I hope he goes over it. I think we got lucky. He has come right up on the surface over here. There's a log we gotta work around. Okay, boy, he swam right around the log. This fish right here's got some moves, buddy. He's coming right at us, man. What is he? Carp. He's gotta be still full of energy too, because he has come right at us. I'm gonna try to go ahead and get him in this net though. Yep, we got him. I think that's the smallest one of the day. And this fish here, this is the smallest one of the day, and he is still probably 5 pounds. Like, I mean, ain't that something? Like when your smallest fish of the day is about 5 pounds, like that's pretty daggone awesome if you ask me. He's got our worm still on the hook, but I think it's a situation. I think okay, he's out of it now. Easy, buddy. I knew he still had too much energy. I knew he did. I thought he had ran that hook through and hooked the net on the other side, but he come out of it and all his flopping. Okay, there we go. You can get on out of here acting that way, fish. You ain't much to look at anyway. A little 5-pounder ain't getting us excited with the fish that we've caught today. Get our net here out the way. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast back out. We're running out of battery, but I may fish this a little bit longer. I may get a little off-camera fishing time today just to finish up. Hard to leave them when they're biting like this. I feel like, I don't know why the bite has suddenly seemed like it's picked up, but I mean, it's been pretty consistent all morning. I don't even really need to use this much pack bait at this point, I don't think, but that's just gonna go to waste anyway. I'll probably dump it out, feed it to them on my way out of here, anything I got left, because I'm not gonna be fishing tomorrow. Let's see, we got anything left in this tub here? Throw out some of that dirt. Well, I ripped that worm in half trying to get him. Nasty old things, but boy, they've been effective. Who would have ever thought nasty, rotten worms would be catching carp left and right, and catfish, and one buffalo? I really thought, man, when we got bit with that buffalo first thing and we saw them others, like I thought this could be a buffalo kind of day, but once again, they have deceived me. They are such a peculiar fish. They're a really hard fish for me to figure out. But it was pretty cool catching the one we got. I'm not your typical carp fisherman that isn't happy to catch them. You know, I like them. They're a nice bycatch. I'd rather catch a big buffalo than a channel cat. That's for sure. I can get though, I mean, when the carp fishermen who have responded, you know, they said that obviously buffalo don't fight as hard as carp. That's true. The fight of a buffalo is nowhere near that of a carp. And they're super slimy, they are. And they typically fight more once you landed them than they do in the water. Like once you net the things, usually when they go crazy. So I get why, like if a person was like really into carp, like trying to catch the biggest carp possible, I get why they could be a little upset with buffalo. But for me, just like, you know, a casual carp fisherman, I really, you know, I just want to come out here and get a tug on the line, have some fun. You know, I really like them. I think we're going to get one more here. If the battery will last. The worm line just jumped. There's something splashed behind us too. I'm gonna tighten this line right there. My line's slack. If he wants it, he better come on because my battery's winding down. Come on, fish. Let's get one more here before this video ends. I'm gonna tell you it's bye now in case this camera just abruptly shuts off. It's gonna happen in the next few minutes. We in the red. I could get me a bigger battery pack, but I like this kind because it fits in my life jacket perfectly. Like this setup just really, it just works for me. It'd be nice to have just a little bit longer battery life, but it is what it is. We've had a lot of action on this video today regardless, even if I don't end up filming the whole trip, you know, because I ain't gonna stay much longer anyway. Maybe 30 minutes. Oh, here we go, it's happening. We're getting him. If we can get him in before the battery dies, we got us another one. We got us one to go home on. Oh, well, he's thrashing out there. Did you see that? He come up the surface. Oh, don't you get over there in that tree now. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Oh, he's where he's trying to go. I'm trying to get a little rough with him here. Trying to steer him away from it. Okay, I think we got lucky again. Oh, don't you go over there by my poles now either. We ain't wrapped a single fish around the power pole today. We ain't gonna do it now. I don't normally like trying to horse fish, or carp anyway, because you oftentimes will rip that hook out, but we're up against the clock here on literally on the battery life. And I didn't want him getting in that dang tree over there. And apparently I don't want him getting in the net either. There we go. There we go, we got him. Okay, carp, good news. Unless one of these other rods goes down, you're gonna be the last one on the video. If we can even get you unhooked before the camera dies. No, no, easy, easy. No, no. I think he's been spawning, look at that. I think he just skeeted on us. Skeet, skeet, skeet. Oh, fish, come on now. You don't act that way now. Oh, I'm trying to make you famous here before this camera shuts off now. Oh man, he threw my fake corn off. He broke my hair stop. You know what, fish? You can forget about your front camera time, buddy. You just get on out of here acting that way. Ought to be embarrassed. Dang old fish. Well, y'all, hey, if nothing else, we got him landed before the camera died. That's a miracle in itself. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you it's bye. That camera's in the red, so it's gonna shut off anytime. We're probably right around the 4-hour mark here, so it's usually when everything dies off, but I think I'm gonna stick around a few more minutes. I'm at least gonna go through these worms. I ain't got but a few left in that jar there, and I don't think it'll take long to go through them and see what I can get, but hey, I've had fun out here today. Thanks for coming with me. Next trip, I don't know, we may go carp fishing again, we may go catfishing, ultralight fishing, it could be anything. Whatever the mood strikes me, is what we're gonna do. I'll see you then.